Hello, what's up? We are back with another stream, another game. Now, because enjoying your day and done with the meals, we are back with another stream of Brawl Stars World Finals 2023 Day 2. So, do make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new, क्योंकि अभी तो स्टार्ट होने में टाइम लगेगा। हेलो भाई, कैसे हो? अंकल जी पाया वागू अरे भाई साष्टांग दंडवत प्रणाम। एसटी गेमिंग या FUT। उफ। हाँ भाई, एसटी गेमिंग बढ़िया खेली है अभी तक। तो मैं तो एसटी गेमिंग को दे दूंगा, बाकी तो उस टाइम ही अब फैसला किया जाएगा, क्योंकि अब तो वैसे ही वोट नहीं कर सकता है गेस। उसी टाइम सोच के बता दिया जाएगा, क्योंकि टीम जब सामने दिखती है ना कि अच्छा इस टीम में ये बंदा खेल रहा है, तो फिर ज्यादा अच्छे से बता पाते हैं। ऐसे बताने में थोड़ा दिक्कत है कि हर टीम का तो याद नहीं रहता ना कि कौन सी टीम में कौन खेलता है। खैर, जो भी है, स्टार्ट होने में भी टाइम है। न, तब तक के लिए डू मेक श्योर टू ड्रॉप अ लाइक एंड सब्सक्राइब। जल्दी बताओ, एसटी गेमिंग को कर दो फिर तो। मुझे टीम याद नहीं है कौन सी टीम में कौन खेलता है, लेकिन फिर भी तो मेरी सुन के करना, तो एसटी गेमिंग को कर दो भाई। मैं तो हमेशा लाइव में करता हूँ। मिस हो जाता है कितनी बार तो सब खराब हो जाता है, इसलिए पहले से वोट करता हूँ। लुल। वाह, क्या बात है। बहुत पहले से वोट करके फायदा क्या है? अच्छी बात है, तुमको टाइम नहीं मिलता है तो। हम्म। हम्म। पपीता वर्सेस स्टेमिना। फॉर्मेट टू गो। Let's pop 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 pop. आज प्री प्रेडिक्ट नहीं किया मैं। वाओ। वैसे करना होता तो किसको करोगे? जीटा को या उसके भाई पपीता को? आई मीन स्टेमिना। पपीता वर्सेस स्टेमिना है ना पहला तो। यस। क्या बात है, क्या बात है। आपने वीडियो नहीं डाला कल, मैंने आपका वीडियो देख कर ही प्रेडिक्शन किया था। जीटा जीटा नाउन सी आर एस के पुट। जीटा जीटा नाउन, फिर सी आर एस के पुट, दोनों ही सिलेक्ट कर लिया भाई ने। बोला इसमें तो दोनों को जिता दूंगा। क्या बात है। हेलो अपूर्व पॉल, व्हाट्सअप। सीआर वर्सेस फुट, हार्डेस्ट चॉइस। वाओ। बताओ पुलपुल भैया, किसको दोगे वोट? जीटा या स्टेमिना? मेरा प्रेडिक्शन जीटा जीटा, स्टेमिना सी आर एस के। वाओ।
Playoffs, and we're going to do the same today. How do you like the sound of that, Sweden? Well, it gives me great pleasure to say welcome to day 2 of the Brawl Stars World Finals 2023.
हम्म मैं स्टेमिना को फर्स्ट की। क्या बात, इतना कॉन्फिडेंस स्टेमिना की स्टेमिना पर।
Weekend. You can see the trophy at the center of the stage, and just 2 days separate our teams from getting their hands on this cup. And if they get their hands on this cup, it means they are the best Brawl Stars teams in the world. Today, we will be playing through Group C and Group D. So let's meet the 6 teams who'll be playing for you on this stage today. Starting up with our European #1 seed, it's Zeta Division. Next up, in Group C, all the way from Latin America, vamos, it's Nouns Esports.
भाई साइड लेफ्ट देखो, एक बार फिर चूज करो.
From North America, please welcome STMN.
भाई टीम देख के तो लग रहा भाई स्टेमिना ही जीतेगी. पहला वाला स्टेमिना को दिया जाएगा इसलिए.
From Europe, please welcome Esports.
अरे 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 अरे, चढ़ गई भाई को चढ़ गई.
Rounding up Group D, it's SK Gaming. So there you have it. Our 6 teams have come tantalizingly close to the trophy. Will one of these 6 be the team to be crowned the winners at the end of this weekend? Well, we need to get through day 2 first. So let's head over to Trav and Kenny to talk you through what's about to go down on this stage.
Day 2 of the Brawl Stars World Finals, and another 6 teams enter the fray, but only 4 can proceed to Day 3 and try and strike gold and become the world champions. I am Trav, I'm joined here by the Kung Fu Master himself, Kenny. How are you feeling after Day 1?
Day 1 was full of surprises. I think many of us did not expect teams like in Group A to show up the way they did. But Group C and D are established players, established teams in Brawl Stars. There are no freebies today. And I'm going to go on a bold statement and say this might be the toughest day of Brawl Stars of all time to date.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to agree with you as well, because Group C and Group D are looking so stacked. And I'd say partially because of myself, to be fair, after that drawing, it was very difficult to get out of that LCQ alive. But at the same time, let's take a little bit of a look at the format, see what we're going to be playing through over today and tomorrow as well. See what we've already played through, Kenny. Talk us through it.
Well, Day 1, of course, we had 3 teams apiece in Groups A and D. Today, we will do the same with Groups C and D. 3 teams apiece, single round robin. It's going to be top 2 from each of the groups advancing to a single elimination bracket on Day 3, which will be so incredibly intense. I mean, Group A's teams were already stacked in Day 2. I'm already prepared for some chaos as well.
Well, with that said, let's see what the teams are going to be playing for on Day 3, and see what they're playing for today and yesterday as well. The prize pool is looking stacked in 2023. $750,000 in total, where first place will take home $250,000 of it. Second place with $150,000. Third to fourth, $85,000. Fifth to eighth, $30,000. And even the teams who went out yesterday, and a couple of teams will go out today, will take home $15,000, Kenny.
That's a lot of cash on the line, and of course pride alongside it as well. Again, this is the most stacked we've ever felt Brawl Stars has been coming into this event. I think many of us would agree there is not a clear contender for this. There are a lot of teams that are more than capable of taking this home, and I think a lot of them are in these Group C's and D's.
It's sad to see that, you know, every single one of these teams deserves to not only get to Day 3, but in my eyes, every single one of them could win the World Finals, and that's saying something. It's sad to say we've got to say goodbye to a couple of them because of how stacked this competition is. With that said, let's take a bit of a look at the groups, because we had A and B past us yesterday. Should see this reflected on this graphic now, where Luminosity Gaming and Revenant Esports
इतना पैसा जीत कर
victorious in Group A.
esports
BC Gaming
टीम
sadly
कहाँ
really
लगाती
sad
है?
that we had to say goodbye to them.
कहाँ
They
लगाएगी?
tried gaming and replied,
जो
Totem
उसके
came through,
ओनर वो
and
रख लेते
Navi
हैं,
were knocked out, Kenny.
उनकी
It's hard
सैलरी
to believe
देते
we
हैं,
live in a world where Navi are
इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर
out of
मेंटेन
the
करते हैं,
competition already. Such an
आने जाने
established
का खर्चा,
historical org in Brawl Stars.
रहने
You look
का
at Group
खर्चा.
C, you look at Group D. There's some people that have won world championships in this group. There's teams that have been to semifinals several times. Zeta Division have won the world championships 2 years running. I mean, the fact that 2 of these teams have to go before the final day is absolutely nuts.
Yeah, and you know, you look at a player like Tensai in Group D there. Crazy Raccoon, he's a back-to-back world champion. He's looking for that three-peat here in 2023. And to be honest, Crazy Raccoon are one of the favorites to do it, Kenny. And I'm really looking forward to those Group D matches.
Yeah, I think there's some intense rivalries. There's some familiarity going with these teams as well. I mean, that's one of the storylines that I think is big here today. I mean, rivalries like Foot and SK with such familiarity from the players, the organizations. It's what makes Brawl Stars so special. I think seeing this today is going to make it worth even more watch time than already in previous years.
Yeah, well, let's take a little bit of a look at our predictions, because over on event.brawlstars.com, you can predict 2 to get some of those sweet, sweet rewards. And I mean, it looks pretty clear-cut to us, but this does not reflect how close this game day is going to be. Everybody looking the same, Kenny, and we're starting things off with STMN.
I mean, this is almost unfair.
STMN.
There's way more of a coin flip aspect to this than I think we're giving it credit for. You all must have watched my video that I published about this, because there is no way that the caster Hive Mind is matching this closely.
I mean, you're not wrong, though, to be fair. I mean, every single game is so much closer than this, but this is the schedule order of the games we'll be watching today, where we kick things off with Zeta Division versus STMN. Zeta Division versus Nouns Esports will be coming up shortly after that. Then that decider match, STMN versus Nouns down the bottom as well. Into Group D after that, where we see
200 points
versus
मिल
SK
रहे हैं.
Gaming to kick that group off. Crazy Raccoon versus Foot Esports, and then
मैंने
the
ध्यान नहीं
grudge
दिया.
match of
हाँ,
the
तो
century.
200 points मिल
SK
रहे हैं.
Gaming versus Foot.
Wow.
The fact that that concludes the day, I mean, that match alone would get me to watch
मतलब
any Brawl Stars day, right?
3
But
मैच
the
में ही
fact
खत्म
that
कर
we
देंगे ये
conclude
तो.
the day with the possibility of one of those teams being eliminated or maybe making it on to day number 3, more importantly, absolutely insane. Every one of these matches are going to be some of the craziest we've seen. And I think, again, even though the caster Hive Mind is all matching today, I don't think that's fair and a good representation just of how good these teams are. I think every single matchup is going to be very difficult to call, including our very
मैंने
first one
जीटा
here.
को दिया.
So talking of matchups,
बढ़िया
this
भाई.
is a massive one to start off day number 2 of the Brawl Stars World Finals 2023, where Zeta Division will face off against STMN Esports. Gero, Meow, and Naui will come against Zar, Bobby, and Sans in an absolutely beautiful matchup for day number 2 of the Brawl Stars World Finals. The teams are ready to enter the stage, so let's see how they do it.
Thank you, guys. Sweden, are we ready to bring on some teams? All right, keep that energy up for me, please, as we welcome our first team from Europe. It's Zeta Division! Nari, Gero, and Meow made a disappointingly early exit back at Worlds in 2022. However, this time they are here to show they have learned, they've grown, and they are ready to take this competition by storm. And their competition in our opening matchup of Group C today. It is STMN! Don't call this one a comeback, call it an anticipated return, because the North Americans did have to go through the last chance qualifier to make it here. But now they're gonna be taking this opportunity by the handles. So there we have it. One last time, Yonjabin, give it up for your teams. Let's head back over to Kenny and Trav to talk us through the action.
Well, let's get down to the real nitty-gritty of this matchup, Kenny. 2 powerhouse teams of Zeta Division coming through at EMEA as the #1 seed direct to World Finals. STMN,
ये
it really wasn't that straightforward.
पॉलिस अच्छी
No,
है.
not as straightforward at all. Although I will
Wallace
say,
bet
at the
English भी है.
Azoka
अरे, अरे.
Masters, STMN really impressed me. I think in the LAN setting, something about it gives them a buff. And Zeta Division as well, though, like you
एक
said,
क्वेश्चन है, आंसर जल्दी बोलो. ST और STMN पहला वाला. स्क्रीन पे देखें, दिख जाएगा.
fact that they were consistent enough to come out #1 with several Grand Finals wins, mega impressive.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had some third-party stuff this year. SPS has been huge for both of these teams. Zeta Division came first in the Season 3. They were the champions of that, but haven't qualified to Season 4. And I think that's a huge point to touch on, considering they just haven't been in form at all. They've just been looking really, really poor recently, and I'm really excited to see.
अब तो 200 पॉइंट मिल रहे हैं राक्षस भैया।
Finals, 68%
एक सही करने पे सीधे 200 points.
With only 32 signing with SDMN.
I get it, right? I mean, after all, Zeta Division in the LAN event that they played at in SPS Season 3, they won, and it wasn't dominant, I would say, but they were certainly convincing, especially against hot teams like Foot, SK, who are in this tournament as well. I mean, they beat some tough teams to get here. But SDMN on paper, you may look at them as the #2 seed from NA West, but every single year, these guys have improved, and I was very impressed, especially with their marquee win of a 3-0 in the opening group stages of the halfway point in the year at ESL Mobile Masters. I am expecting these guys to continue to grow. I'm going to believe in the upside with these guys. But again, with the people at home, I get it. Zeta Division were the #1 seed from EMEA, and despite struggles more recently, heck, it's the World Finals, it's the big stage, and these guys have come to play on big days.
I mean, that's the thing, you know, the EU region is the most
बताने के बाद गलत कैसे मार्क कर सकता भाई ये?
Zeta Division have been dominating all year long. 3 monthly final wins, a 2nd place, and they did manage to get 5th to 8th in July and April as well. So they had a couple of poor months, but the good months really made up for it. The ups and downs were there, but the highs were higher than the lows.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said just for the EMEA region as a whole. I mean, there are a lot of teams being represented here. They're showing at LCQ, really reflected to me the depth the region has, how successful they were. I mean, all 4 of those teams for LCQ representatives made it to day #2 for LCQ, and 2 of them even showed up here today. It's just so intense. I think there's something to be said for that. But as well, I still think STMN are going to be a strong opposition when it came to prepping.
200 points सही होने पर और 100 MVP के मतलब 300 points लेना बोला 3 गेम ही सही कर दिए तो तुम्हारा काम खत्म। 3 गेम सही करती है तुम घर जा सकते हो आराम से, देखने की जरूरत नहीं।
Clash via Esports and Reject. And Reject, they've been, you know, causing problems for Crazy Raccoon all year long, and it was a quick 3-0 sweep to STMN. We're going to start things off in Hard Rock Mine in Gem Grab, where 8-Bit will be the...
Who is Zeta Division's coach?
I like that start. Obviously going to be able to TP away.
Meow है क्या?
Ban-wise, we're looking at
Inso नाम है। Inso vote कर दो भाई, इसमें भी first.
No surprise there. And the Sandy and Rosa too.
Yeah, I'm not expecting to see Charlie again today. Yesterday, 27 bans, and fun fact, there were 27 sets yesterday. 100% of the time, the team that had the first pick were not allowed to select that brawler. Mr. P going to be taking us on the 2-3 turn here. Sandy, another one that's very popular in this map. And I will say, Zeta Division taking 8-Bit, he is a powerful brawler, but I know in the North American meta, especially with STMN, they have praised this brawler as just a solid brawler overall, but especially on a mode like Hard Rock Mine and Gym Grab, he's special with the TP.
I mean, that's the thing, though, you know, because they praise it so much, they must have played against, they must know how to counter it, and obviously, they think that Ruffs and Mr. P are the brawlers to be able to do just that, but
Cat में लिख के दिया first, उसके बाद कैसे गलत कर सकते हो?
Hasn't got the DPS to deal with it, and when he's bouncing those shots back with the shield, it's going to be even harder as well. You kind of just question, STMN, they're going to have to get a lot of power-ups with this Ruffs here. That's the only way they're going to be able to combat this Buster, and Zeta had a Rico as well to be able to bring that bounce ability back to them as well as STMN.
I'm wondering if STMN go with the Shelly here. I see we have some really tanky brawlers on the Zeta Division side. And Mr. P, solid. But this will be a good opposition as well. They have to get some way to deal with the high health points and maybe even use Lou as a mid. Now they got a little versatility in this composition. All I know is when I see that they have Buster and 8-Bit, the amount of health points and HP and just the amount of firepower that they have. Colonel Ruffs, Mr. P, not necessarily going to be those quick kill kinds of brawlers or your top fraggers for your team, but Lou is something special right now in the meta. The hypercharge has really elevated him. He was a top 3 played brawler and also top 3 in bans as well. So he's just consistent. He's shown up a ton. It's just a special brawler right now.
I mean, it really is. You see,
fast match, let's go!
Division draft more than anything, but then this Lou comes through, and you know that can change a game with a click of his fingers. Getting into it there in first game of day 2 of the World Finals. Meow starting strong on the right-hand side, getting a few bounces round, but initially, SCMN seem on top.
Makes sense to throw Bobby in the mid for me here. They're going to be wanting to contend against Naui, who's on the Buster, and of course, having him in the mid, throw it on ice rings to gain area control. I think it's going to work really well, but Meow already marching down this right-hand side. Rico lane is such a tough thing to deal with on this map.
Yeah, it really is. I'm not sure if they, well, obviously they can't really send the roughs over to that side either. Oh, great stuff. Oh, going through with the multi-ball launcher. Meow takes 2 down. Gero's going to be able to claim those gems nice and easy. No pushback from STMN on grabbing those. Meow surely going to go down. Multi-ball launcher used once more, but now he picks a kill up on the left-hand side. And Gero should be able to keep control a little bit longer. Turret going to be placed down, but he's going to get that, or just manages to get back to his TP before Sans cleans it up.
That's a great demonstration of exactly what 8-Bit can bring to the table on this map, especially if you use the gear that allows for an extra gadget as well. Now you've got 4 teleports a game along with your super, and if Gero's beaming the way he is, this is going to look like easy money for Zeta Division. But fortunately for STMN, they've reclaimed the mid. They have access to gaining these mines, and they are going to be able to pile up some gems as a result.
I mean, Meow just walks up the lane, uses the gadget, and he gets a kill. Bobby's going to go down as well. Now Gero versus Zara in this mid. TP back as the 10th gem spawns. Gero starts the count for Zeta Division, and STMN
आज मेरा टेस्ट है और मैं इधर टून नहीं देख रही है कोचिंग में टेस्ट है
misses the hypercharge as well. The TP, the freeze goes down though. They get the pickup. Bobby in position for another super as well. Zeta able to pick up 10 gems, but a reset of the countdown.
And Meow reclaims those gems. Now he's just going to try and deflate this pressure, go for the aggressive play, but he goes down, and now he's going to be respawning back all the way. Zar going to be able to throw this down. Good kill from Meow though. 5 seconds on the clock, and Sans is nowhere to be seen. Zeta take game 1.
Whew, came down to the wire a little bit though. Zeta Division, some big beams coming in through 8-Bit. And I think there's one way to describe how they play that. They just use brute force and walked it down the middle. I mean, to be honest with you, I feel like they just took advantage of the composition that they're bringing. You know, I've heard mixed comments on Buster in the meta, but I just think when you pair all of these brawlers together, you have a top frag with a lane of Rico. I think this is a strong composition here, and I think it's something that might be able to get the job done.
Well, game number 2 kicks off. Zeta Division can close this first set out already if they manage to win this one. A great start from Gero there as he beams down Bobby. Should be able to pick up these 2 gems off his side, but take some heavy fire to the face, almost frozen down. And Meow trying to make some moves on the right-hand side. Obviously, Bouncy Castle isn't his gadget of choice, so can't just heal up when he wants to.
Meow just going to take some time here to breathe. Gero still in the mid here, drops his first super now. Looking to isolate against Mr. P, who's going to have to recover. Bobby taking over the left-hand side. A freeze on Denaui as well. And this Lu versus Buster matchup is something they're going to be looking forward to. Lu, a very solid option into these tankier brawlers. The freezes can get some extra added benefit. And just like that, he's got a super, he's got a hypercharge, and that could shift the entire game.
Yeah, power up along the way as well, so going to be able to do more damage. And a bit more HP along the way. There's the hypercharge. Now he's going to be frozen solid on the spot. Bobby cycles it out as well. Gero's going to be his next target. Gets the super on him too. Instant freeze. Meow defending well, but he's on it now as well. Slipping and sliding, can't move anywhere. And STMN reclaim control.
This is how STMN have to play this composition. They have to have area control, and they have to pick one brawler at a time and focus it. You saw immediately Bobby finds the matchup on Denaui, gets the super freeze, gets the easy lineups, and Gero's going to have to recover as a result too. Sans and Meow have been fighting all set long, though. They're going to be trying to get a piece of the action here as Gero is forced to get some assistance there under the strong player in Sans, and all of a sudden Zeta Division looking a little more alive.
Yeah, reclaiming some ground now. Now he's got to make a move down this left-hand side and get something going. TP back. Not sure if that was really needed, to be honest. They had some great control with him up there. Bobby's going to have this super, and now he's not going to know he has. There's the gadget as well to get some freeze off, but not fully frozen just yet. Meow destroying on the right-hand side. Gets 2, just are alive. Gero grabs those gems. TP's out, and Zeta start the count yet again.
It's a runaway once again. The teleportation showing its value now. Sans in pursuit. Zar on the right hand in, low HP. Meow defending his teammate now. Sandbags on the ground as Gero goes to the left. Gonna have to defend against Bobby here, and Mr. P not gonna be able to do enough damage. Our European #1 seed takes set #1.
Well, I mean, they really went. Zeta went down to the grave, and now they have risen again, because this is the Zeta we've been seeing all year long, and they're back and ready to fight at the World Finals.
You know, I love Lou.
Hello there, glitchy glitcher. What's up? How are you doing?
I almost felt like it was a lot harder work for them. They were still competing. They were still contending. The mechanics were good, but I feel like Zeta Division just set themselves up for a little bit more success. I felt like that was really hard for STMN to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, in my eyes, Zeta had the game before they even loaded in. The draft went so right for them. If you can pick up Rico on a map like this, you know it's going to be solid. Same with the Buster. He might have not done much in game 2, but game 1 he destroyed. And I mean, there was a little bit of a reset here, but STMN couldn't get any gems out in either of the games. And they looked good in game 2, don't get me wrong. STMN looked very good in game 2. But the massive turnaround coming in from Meow on this right-hand side, I think this is it here. Multi-ball launcher, super, and it's gorgeous. So good from him, and I missed it in the moment, but I'm glad I got to see it again now.
Yeah, that's a highlight reel of a play right there. I mean, Meow just absolutely crushing with that super, and it's showing in the kill feed as well. 9 and 266 DPS. Gotta think that was an MVP kind of play for that set.
I mean, 9 kills for Meow.
I'm good.
Huge, but look at the DPS.
Long time
on the
no
side
see.
Of STMN, it's absolutely huge.
Welcome back, bro.
You know, the kills are looking higher than the average of that of Zeta Division, but it's not about that. It's about getting those gems and getting back to your spawn with them successfully, and that's what Zeta did so well.
I'm really impressed so far, so good for them. I think this is going to be tough just throughout the entire day, obviously, but Group C is something special, and now STMN going to have to just move forward one at a time here. Kaboom Canyon going to be our next map of choice, and I found Kaboom Canyon to be a little bit interesting when studying scrims this week, when watching yesterday. A brawler that's obviously one of my favorites, but really surprised me that he showed up as much as he did is Gale. Tribe Gaming, especially yesterday, utilized this brawl. Okay, buddy, don't hate. I was surprised too, though. Genuinely, I'm his biggest advocate. Love the guy. But I was really shocked to see as much as I did of him. I mean, he was one of the most played brawlers, had about a 50% win rate yesterday. But people are using
भाई कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है मुझे वीसी आने में. आप जाके वहाँ बक करें, मैं को यहाँ बैठ के देखने दें. धन्यवाद. मेरे पास ऐसी कोई बात ही नहीं है जो मैं वीसी पे आके करूँ.
To touch on your point,
जब वीसी पे करने लायक कोई बात होगी जब मैं वीसी आ जाऊँ. जब तक आप अपना बतियाइए.
The meta is just so interesting right now, too. We've got a lot of hypercharged brawlers. We have Charlie in the mix, but you got to keep those long-range options in mind, too, which is why you're going to see somebody like Nani entering the ban stage. I think a very slept-on and powerful brawler in the meta. Colette is an absolute monster on this map as well. The hypercharge adding some benefit, but already a high DPS option, and especially in a tankier meta, is going to be a problem. But it's about time we introduce the train conductor here today. This is a map where Chuck is going to shine.
And it's bold. It's really bold because it's been played, it's worked sometimes, it's failed others, and it's a very hit or miss brawler. I said this yesterday.
और रही बात राक्षस भैया की कि भाई कितना इजी तरीके से जीत रहे हैं, तो मैं एक बात बता दूं भाई, ये जीटा डिवीजन है. इसका मैच वो भले ही जीत भी रही हो तो ये 5वें सेट तक जाता है. इनके मैचेस तो 5वें सेट तक जाएगी. टेंशन ना लीजिए, 2 मैच तो हारेंगे ही हारेंगे.
Cordelius is somebody that can shut up the Shadow Realm, throw them down under, and the second that happens, even mid-super for Chuck, it's going to get disrupted. He's going to be more vulnerable. Of course, Cordelius getting a little buff in the underworld as well. Another high DPS option, though, is Lola. I think Zeta Division are making it pretty clear. They are looking to attack, attack, attack.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Good DPS, but even more DPS coming out of STMN now as 8-Bit joins Cordelius on their side. They have this last pick, but Zeta Division have that final one. So we'll see what STMN go. They're going to have to be pretty versatile here, because obviously Zeta Division, they're pretty good at drafting, pretty good at pivoting on the fly. And they're going to go with a Jesse. Don't love it, don't hate it, but overall, I'm really liking STMN's comp.
We saw STMN utilize this brawler over at LCQ in this mode as well, and it can really provide a lot of output onto the high safe as well. You know, it's interesting, I don't think Cordelius is necessarily built to be that offensive threat, but they pair their other 2 picks with 8-Bit, who's just, I think, a powerful brawler. The other side hasn't really chosen a wall break option, so I'm curious to see if they do for the turrets or maybe go with something like a Bell for the bounce shot. But they're going to go with the spawners in Eve to kind of traverse over this water. But into the hatchlings as well. You know, we've got Jesse going here, so I feel like there are definitely a couple of matchups favored for STMN.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse into the Eve, bouncing off those babies, bouncing off Lola's ego. It's a very solid pick, and it kind of feels like Zeta Division are picking into very heavy counters in my eyes. I'm not sure if you feel the same way, but Chuck into a Cordelius, Eve and Lola into a Jesse, it feels a little weird for me.
I think STMN's composition just plays really well into Zeta Division's
क्या बात है, एक बंडल चल ही जाएगा.
I mean, it's hard to really nitpick at STMN right now, where Zeta Division are just going to have to exude some confidence. They're going to have to play this right. They have options to get to the other end and to do some serious damage, but I think they're going to have to take care of the game quickly. I don't think STMN are afraid to drag this out.
Yeah, well, good start from Zeta as Gero gets a nice kill. Some great shots on Bobby as well, babies. And the Parasite's already going to be spawning in here. Zara getting some great shots onto Gero though, but cleaned up on Meow. Great team play from Zeta so far.
Sands now going to have to play defense here, and now he's starting to kick into high gear as Bobby has to play against Meow on the other end. Shadow Realm pick up there, and Sands showing off why that matchup can work at times. Bobby gonna have to recover for now, and still big contention in this mid area.
Yeah, well, Bobby being dominated by Meow now, going to get rid of that turret as well, and boosted booster it is, but now he coming forward, great stuff from him, and that's going to be damage on safe, but base race, turret comes down, machine gun turret from Jesse, and Sands has got the damage gear activated, massive from them, but also Zeta Division are getting something done, not able to get this down, Energize coming through from Zara as well, and huge from STMN.
And now Bobby's in the mix as well. They're really laying it on to this high safe here. Zara surviving as Meow is forced onto the high safe in his spawn side. Gero on the other end as well. The bounce shot goes through, 1K to go, and it's going to be a toughie here, relying on the Jesse turret to get it done. And STMN in a base race come out on top.
So much better from STMN there. You know, Zeta Division looked so good off the start, but they let it slip. They let a base race happen. Damage gear, Jesse turret, got that machine gun coming through as well with the gadget, and it looks so good for STMN. Zeta had the much better start, more kills, more control, but you can't let a base race like that slip.
Right, you saw that Zeta Division were in the middle of the base race and said, oh, I don't think we're going to come out on top on this one. We got to turn around. And I think at that moment, it was really the point of no return for them. STMN were too late to the gas pedal there, but right now it's about to be a team wipe. The European squad getting some big-time takedowns.
And these poles already being established now by Now. He wants to be able to TP straight to that safe, establishes this third one up top here. Well, should do in just a second, but doesn't really want to reveal himself just yet. Now getting some good shots through, but not in the best of spots against this Jesse with his ego placed up, but at least it's behind him.
STMN took some serious losses here early on, so the fact that they haven't given up any percentage yet is huge. Now he, though, does have that super already charged up. They're just holding on to the mid, now gonna activate it, sees a weak Bobby, takes his opportunity, picks up a kill here. Zar firing some shots down and finally gets the last pole connected to that high safe. That's where things can start to get really scary for STM inside.
The pinch was gonna come in, so now he goes towards his post and goes all the way back, chugging down that train line. But now, maybe try to get some work done against Bobby as STMN start to fight back. Zeta, some good shots through. They're just levitating over this water, and now he's going to go in. Oh, I think that was Realm missed by Sands there. Now he gets out, but not going to go any further than that. Not without some damage along the way, though. They've already done a lot to the safe.
It's tough, too, at a professional level. Missed shots like that can add up to extra percentage points. We saw in game number 1, once STMN got a breakaway, they were good to go. So sometimes one offensive threat is all it takes. But right now, they just have to find a way this high safe, and this is their first real opportunity. Jesse powering up her turret, the damage piling on now, and it's still continuing to go. 8-bit in the mix as well, and it's going to be a big threat here. 50% now less to go for STMN.
I mean, that's all it needs for STMN to take the lead. Zeta have to be way more careful when defending this. Now he's going to be able to come back to this mid now. Ego and freeze frame on the left-hand side. Sands can't get it done against Meow on the right. Gero's going to be able to tank a few shots here, but it did go up towards his baby rather than Meow, which is good for Zeta. They re-establish control and do have the lead and the control with 30 seconds on the clock.
2%, all the difference in the world, and now he goes to the underworld. Now Sands with a big pickup here and perfectly timed as well. They needed that defense, and it opens a lane on the left-hand side.
भाई 8-bit ने जो डैमेज मारा है, वाह वाह वाह.
Gero have to respond, but it's all STMN for now. Chuck going to the other end, shots piling up for STMN. Turret on the ground.
खत्म है भाई, खत्म है.
Back and forth right now, but
GG's. Easy peasy for the stamina.
Just as Zeta were looking good, STMN strike twice. Beautiful pushes from them, and Zeta had the control pretty much all the way through, but all it needs is an 8-bit turret, an 8-bit and a Jesse to get the job done, and STMN played that perfectly. They knew they weren't going to have control all the way through.
कल भी इस मैप पे कॉर्डी था, आज भी है. जब जब वहाँ पर छुक बॉय रहेगा, तब तब वहाँ पे कॉर्डी मिलेगा. टेलीपोर्ट अपना टेलीपोर्ट करके ले जाता ना उसको.
I mean, it just felt like STMN were set up from the get-go, and even in like games number 2 early on, where little bit of a struggle to get control right the second they got through that wall. They just had options. They have a Jesse turret. They have 8-bit, especially if you get him that extra damage. Things got out of hand so quickly.
I mean, we've got to talk about that draft, because it wasn't like STMN counterpicked them. They counterpicked themselves. And that's what I was so confused about. I don't know if they kind of thought, oh, we've got Chuck, we can do it anyway, we'll make something happen. but that's just not how it played out for them. Yes, they had control off the start. Yes, they looked decent. But as soon as STMN started going, you know that it's going to be over for Zeta Division. They had the matchup, and they had the base race capability.
Yeah, hard to say what they were looking for there. I mean, Cordelius, of course, that first overall pick, and then immediately into the Chuck. I think it was probably just the strategy from the get-go, a boat of confidence. This has worked before. This is going to have to be what we do. And the defense of Zeta Division, they did have a lot of kills, but unfortunately for this game mode, that doesn't super matter. It's all about getting that high safe damage, and STMN just simply did that better.
Yeah, some good crowd reactions in there as well. Getting hyped up for STMN. Clearly have the fan support. Kill-wise and stat-wise, though, 533 for the side of STMN. 182, 192, and 319 from Bobby. Great performance out of him. But top DPS and top kills both go to Meow and still come out on the bottom.
Yeah, back-to-back sets where Meow's just simply putting up numbers. A phenomenal player and showing up on the big day. But again, for STMN, kills weren't what they needed. And I think the fact that Zeta Division really felt like they had a couple players piling them on just reflects how good the offense was from STMN there. In a mode like that, that is so important.
अब जीता एक और जीतेगी, स्टैमिना एक और जीतेगा, तब जाके फाइनल तक पहुंचेंगे.
Strategy, but against the world's best, sometimes you really got to think through, hey, we're getting countered by some of the best dudes in the world. Maybe we should think differently. Maybe we should play into the matchups. There's a lot to juggle in this draft phase. I think we're really starting to learn that on set number 3 here today.
Well, Ring of Fire and Hot Zone will be a mode where one of them will move ahead once more. It's going to be 2-1 after this one, depending on who will go to is the question. Lou going to be an absolute fiend on this map. I'm sure it's probably going to be banned out instantly by the team who doesn't have that first pick, and more than likely along with Charlie.
Lou's a must ban for me here. He was the #1 played brawler yesterday, a top 3 ban yesterday, and this mode is somewhere he can absolutely shine. His super covers the entire map. Now we add into the mix that
4 और 5 के बीच में कंफ्यूज था. अच्छा वो 4
what he could do earlier today, even piling up kills for teams if necessary. Gray, a good shout to me as well. I think Gray is a very slept-on brawler right now, especially in a mode where you are relying on getting to the point of interest very quickly in the
खेलने में भी उतना ही बेकार लगता है जितना देखने में लगता है भाई ये.
First overall selection. I think a very safe and square pick. I love it for pick #1.
Yeah, great pick. And as you say, #1 pick, it's kind of the smart decision. You've got to go for something safe, something that can't really be countered that much. Yes, it can be countered, but it's always going to have legs no matter what matchup that pans in. That's the thing. Close range DPS, long range spray, able to keep people quite low. So I think that's a solid pick from STMN from their #1. Zeta Division now have these next 2. Need to try and counter it out, but also need to think a bit further down the line as well. I like the Rosa ban from both sides. I think that's very solid as well. But Colette is one of the brawlers that does counter Pam. Still, not really the best brawler on Ring of Fire. Kind of just a counter brawler.
I think this is a pretty solid pairing from Zeta Division, though. I imagine that Stu is going to bring in the speed zone here.
जो Pam लिए वो हारेगा.
High health point brawler, somebody like Pam, for example. And like you mentioned, too, it's very hard to have a direct counter into Pam, but I think Colette and Stu as a pairing is just a powerful combination for this map.
Yeah, it's a great pair. STMN going to bring in the Bell, though. Bit of bounces between them, might get rid of some speed zones along the way, and a Mr. P coming in once more. Didn't work out too well in that first set. But obviously against Colette, against Stu, those porters coming in, definitely going to do a lot of work, tanking that single range shot, that single projectile, should I say, of Colette. And Stu, yes, he can clean them up a little bit faster than Colette, but at the same time, it's going to be very obstructive for him.
Curious to see what Zeta Division go here. I've seen Chuck show up a good bit here, and but 2 of these matchups, not necessarily sure that's what they're going to want. They're actually going to go with Carl here, who I feel like is still a really solid brawler overall, but definitely this weekend.
You know, I look at this STMN comp and it just looks so diverse. It looks really solid to me. I like the way that they've shaped up, but the Carl is really scary for me, actually, especially for the side of that STMN roster, because they've got the Mr. P, gonna dominate that as soon as the flying hook comes in. Same with the Pam as well. Can't really do too much against a Carl who's spinning around because it takes so long to get that shot out, and it's only going in one direction.
Yeah, I got to think Carl's just a solid brawler for this map. Pretty decent in the meta, and then seeing Mr. P with all of his spawners, of course, with the pickaxe, he's going to be able to slice right through it. 1-1 overall, kicking off set number 3 of our first match of the day. This one is very important.
Yeah, it really is. Well, Gotcha was already popped there from Zeta Division, has that gadget over his head, but not getting most value out of it. Garro's sliding around this right-hand side, now going to be in the 1v1 versus the Pam, but as soon as he gets the super, he should be doing all right. Manages to grab it now and gets the kill on the way. Meow cleans up the left, and Bobby left alone.
Meow initiating contact on the left-hand end with a dash forward, a perfectly placed super. Bobby started strong there, has the nest eggs, took down the speed zone. Now he really hasn't been able to generate any supers to get aggressive, which is Stu's biggest strength. I think STMN, despite being down a little bit, are still very much in it. Ooh, a nice tag there from Bobby, a pickup from Zar as well. Now complete control for STMN.
Oh, Meow's flown under the radar beautifully there, and he's really been the star man so far from Zeta Division. Gero's going to be able to pick up that turret, but instantly replaced by Sands, getting some good shots through. Spin now comes in, might be able to get Bobby, but actually falls short. Super was eventually grasped by Nowie here, and same from Meow, he comes through with the hypercharge. He's making all the moves for Zeta, and he's coming through massively for them. Should be able to take the lead now. Huge play from him, saving Zeta.
3 blue brawlers standing strong right now. Meow has been something to watch. They're sending 2 to address him. A super going down, a pickup of 1. He's gonna get a trade. Nowie, Garo, gonna be able to keep hunkering down in the mid here. They're well past 60%. Huge advantage to Zeta Division right now.
Garo almost gets 2 as well. Bobby falls low, can't really aggress. Porter's now coming forwards, but with the 2 of them there, shouldn't really be doing too much. Mark directly onto Nowie. 20% left for Zeta Division. About 45 or 55 now for STMN. They've got to make a huge comeback, and they're getting control. Porter's established further up from Zar as well, and a mark missed by Bobby.
The expert marksman and Bobby gonna have to hit some serious shots right now. Not a lot left for Zeta Division, but STMN with a real opportunity every time Meow dives in as well with that super. He makes contact great, but it's extra percentage points as well as now Meow skates up the map alongside Nowie there. Little tailspin from Garo, and they're well above 90 at this point. STMN back to the mid with a lot of work to do.
I mean, the Porter just cleaned up Nowie on the bottom side. Sands slotting back in, trying to keep Garo out these back lines, stopping him from coming in. Meow goes in way too aggressive, and now it's 95 to 94. Garo sweeps in. Oh, he gets it done. He gets
Oh yeah, very close. क्या बात है? Hello Barkrusty. Yeah, very close.
But the boys over in Zeta Division, ice in their veins, show up when it matters most for a set number 3. STMN on their back heels now.
What a play from Zeta Division. Pure brilliance coming in from Garo in the closing seconds of the first game of Ring of Fire. Starting from square one once again though. STMN coming through the mid, but now he with some good chains. Gassy Heel comes along, but he does fall anyway.
The best competition in the world, bringing out the best in both of these teams right now. As Meow, a star player so far here today, is trying to keep the pressure alive. Now he dashing back and forth right now. Bobby dipping his toes in. Sands now, the beefy brawler with 9,600 HP, clearly established alongside that healing station. He's even willing to defend the healing station. They're going to send Meow in to use a super just to get rid of it as a scrap sucker goes down. A great counter into Stu here, but they still survive. Nonetheless, though, STMN mean business right now. They are close to 50.
Well, spin comes in from Garo on that right-hand side. Does have to back off, though. Uses it as an escape mechanism rather than going aggressive. Now he's falling low. Is going to go down as well. Sent back to spawn by Sands. Garo's going to fall too, but here comes the hypercharge. Spirit following shortly behind. Gets the kill and keeps some control for his team. 30% behind, though, and Bobby's still sitting in the mid.
Good on Bobby to start rotating in here. The objective is to getting into that hot zone, and even if you're trading, Brawler Sands can pick up a lot of time here with the amount of health points he has. Multitasking right now with Garo. Meow hitting shots. Star on the left-hand in, trying to get some extra tags, and Zeta slowly climbing their way back into this as Meow establishes a little more control. A missed dash, but now Nowie there to help.
Yeah, I mean, Meow did a great job there to deflate some pressure. Turret coming in. Garo's going to use that flying hook forwards. Join Nowie on this right-hand side. Try pinch down. But it gets him killed rather than doing anything helpful. Garo's going to be able to sweep in and get that as well. Nice spin from him. Should fall down. Great shots from Sands coming in now. And they're walking away with the lead.
Stamina this time with a little bit of a lead. Hypercharge inbounds though in the backhand end as well. Another one going down as well. Make it 2. Meow with a pop-off here. It's becoming closer and closer as Bobby hits a nice and very pivotal super here. It's going to come down to the wire once again.
Mr. P-Port's coming in now. That's going to be hard for now. He needs to make an escape, but can't get anywhere. Garo last flying hook, trying to get the super, gets it again. Trying to make the same move as last game, but this time, it's not
STMN.
Even out hot zone.
You can feel the energy from the crowd here. After the games, they're loud, but everybody holding their breath right now. This is about as intense as it
उसको अगर
gets for a
सुपर
World
मिल
Finals
जाता
match.
कार्ल को भाई फिर नहीं संभलता किसी से जब तक कि कोई उसको धक्का मारने वाला ना हो भाई वो घूम घूम के सबका काट देता है.
Happening this time. And I will say, It really is. Meow making a lot of the moves. Same with Gero. Now he's playing it well as well, but I feel like he's got to be a bit more careful with a few of these dashes. Seems to be over-aggressing a little bit in my eyes.
Got to have a perfect start here. Making sure you establish control. Start off with a little bit of a lead, and even some pickups early can make a huge difference as Zara looks to accomplish that for his team. Strikes Gero, and now it's going to be a 3v2 situation. Stands with a decent amount of HP here too. Popping a Scrap Sucker a little preemptively too. Those gadgets are very valuable as well. And it's basically a tie ball game right now as both teams are continuing to contest for the mid.
Meow gets marked, but does get the kill. Gero going to come around the right-hand side, and a team wipe for Zeta Division. One by one, all of STMN fall, and Zeta claim control.
What a play there from Zeta Division. A strong lead here now in game number 3 as STMN looks to get back into their footing. They're going to have to deal with a strong Gero, though, and they finally take it down. Meow looking for a strike as well, doesn't quite get it there. Now he super available, back and forth right now as they try and isolate that brawler. And now STMN climbing towards that 30% marker with a lot of work to go.
Meow has this hype charge now. STMN have to be careful, but a marked up Gero over-aggresses down the right-hand side. Turret established by Sands once more, going to provide some heals. And Meow forced to back off yet again. Speed zone goes down, now he has to back off. But the bell bounces, causing a lot of issues for Zeta.
Nice tag there from Bobby. He has been making those supers count, and now it's STMN with the lead here. Zeta on their back heels. They can't even touch the grass for all those brawlers, but I do see Meow with a hypercharge here. Now he's trying to push up as well, and here comes Meow as well. Super goes down. Not a ton of connections, but a final blow from the grave as well as Gero gets involved here. It's going to be a tag for him, a strike as well, and now Meow looking to pinch here. The Porter clutching up as well, providing a shield for STMN. Scrap Sucker going down as well, and they're going to be able to overwhelm them with HP for a moment, but Zeta Division are back.
10%'s all that's needed for STMN, but Gero survives for so long. Now Zeta come in, super there for Meow, gonna go for it as well, but it's not
Easy
enough.
peasy, lemon
STMN
squeezy.
take hot zone and move 2-1 up.
Stamina down 1%, literally came down to the final moment in game number 1. Zeta Division nearly stole a set from them. Instead, though, they dig deep, put their heels in the ground, and get control of set number 3. This is huge. They now go into set number 4, a little less pressure off them, and going into the European number 1 seed. This is big for establishing this Group C.
स्टेमिना जीत रही है। अरे तो भाई मैं पहले ही बता चुका हूँ, ऐसे ही चलता है। जीटा के मैचेस ऐसे ही चलते हैं भाई। अब देखो ऐसा खेल लेगी जीटा की लगेगा, और भाई इससे बढ़िया कोई टीम ही नहीं है। चौथा सेट जीत जाएगी, फिर 5वें सेट को ले जाके बोलेंगे हम जीत रहे हैं, नहीं हम हार रहे हैं। ऐसे चलता है उसका। उनके प्लेयर्स को ऐसे ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है।
Brilliant in this game, and this is the best Brawl's got to offer in 2023.
You can even see the reaction from the STMN side, just shaking their heads. Unbelievable stuff. I believe it was 86 HP. That's about as close of a call as I've maybe ever seen. Gero and the Carl, though, made a huge difference throughout that. STMN do squeeze by there in the final 2 games. A lot of excitement going down as well. Can't ask for much better from a Brawl Stars match.
Hearing some of those comms as well, STMN getting hyped, playing together brilliantly as a team in the closing seconds of some of those games. 5-3-3 for STMN here, 2-8-6. And yes, Meow and Gero played brilliantly through that one on a couple of those brawlers. But now, he's the glue. He's the one making some of the plays. He's the one playing that stew in the mid, and you can't really expect too much from that.
Tensa is the correct answer.
Sets Meow just popping off here. And STMN, I feel like, have just been 3 consistent guys right now. They're playing as a unit, everybody doing their part here, firing on all cylinders from this side, and now some smiles going down as well. That's a big deal. The mood seemingly good. And now it's Zeta Division with all of the pressure. They have to win 2 straight sets here. And just after watching these first 3 that we've had, it has taken everything just to get 1 set at a time.
And it's anybody's game, that's the thing. Although STMN need 1, Zeta Division can quite easily get 2. That's the thing. It's so close between these 2 teams, but we're heading into knockout, out in the open. Should slow down the pace after that one. Give me and Kenny a little bit of time to catch our breaths, because that last set was genuinely incredible.
Oh, it's been something else, man.
हाँ ऐसे ही आंसर बताना. Wow.
On day number 1, you know, we talked about how good it was going to be, and the caster Hive Mind had a pretty good feel of what was going to happen, but I think all of us could agree, coming into Group C, coming into Group D, all of these teams have been so darn good this year. Some powerhouses in the Brawl Stars universe, and STMN one away from starting this group stage off 1-0
देखो सीधा सा फंडा है,
coming off a semi-finals performance in Worlds
जिस भी
last
टीम
year,
को
and Meg is somebody
पहला
fierce
ऑप्शन
right
नहीं
now.
मिलता है
This is a
चूज
brawler
करने
that
का
we talked
ब्रॉलर,
to the players. They
वो
really
टीम
like
उठा के
having this
चार्ली को
mode
बैन
because
कर
of
देती
how
है.
much HP
और देख हट
Meg can
बैन
bring to
की,
the table. If
बैन
that
हो जाए.
storm starts to close in, heavy firepower, a lot of health points, and guess what? Even if you take down the big robot, you still got Meg and a pistol when she comes out of that form.
Hey, you know me, I'm not going to make any comments, but if you're an avid Brawl Stars watcher, you know what I'm thinking. You know what I'm thinking. That's all I'm saying. Bans, though, they're looking pretty solid. Charlie banned out as well as obviously the Lou. I think those are the two obvious bans at this point, regardless of the map. But STMN coming in with the Piper, feeling confident, feeling bold, and we know any of those players in STMN could pick up that brawler and put on a show.
Yeah, Bobby and Zara are two notable sharpshooters with the Piper over the long history of Brawl Stars up to this point, so I'm very excited to see that brawler. It's good on this map. I think they're looking for some high damage here, maybe some other brawlers to keep in mind as well, and I think that might have been part of the influence for why they banned Nani. One, because it's so good here, but it's a good brawler on this map. They are really good at using it. Why the heck not, right?
Gray, अरे bye bye
We
bye.
know Sans can pick up that brawler and make some serious moves. We've seen it in the past, and I'm sure we'll see it again now. Zay's Division back over to them for the next couple of picks, and then STMN will have the final say in this draft. Out in the open is the map. We'll see if Zay's Division choose to continue this kind of aggressive stance on it, I feel, rather than play a bit more of a sharpshooter, or if they'll pivot a little bit and try contest against this Piper. Yes, Nani's banned out. It's going to be very difficult. We've still got some on the on the picks. We could go with Brock, those kind of sharpshooter brawlers. We're going to see a Gene. I do like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking out for a Pam here as well, I think. I see two sharpshooters. I see a brawler that could potentially have a lot of health points, healing station, and I think that bigging up Gene here, a common counter into somebody like Piper could be really good. They may be looking for spawners as well, like Mr. P here. I think they're going to have to really round out their composition here with STMN.
कोई फ्रैंक लेता ही नहीं चैंपियनशिप में. पागल है कोई फ्रैंक लेगा.
Great options available.
There's still a lot to choose from for both of these sides here. Zay's Division do have this next pick. 2 seconds left to make it. It's going to be the Brock. We knew that it's kind of still looming. The long range can break the wall, give them a bit of an advantage in the start, and especially if you can get Meg a bit more aggressive, give her a bit more of a chance to get forwards, then I think it's a solid pick. You know, with that wall break, send her straight through. But STMN definitely going to have something to say.
I wonder if
क्या
STMN
कोई
get
थ्रोअर
aggressive
आने
here.
वाला
I
है?
see Brock, who's a little bit of a squishier brawler. Gene, who doesn't deal the best with brawlers.
क्या
up
कोई
close to
थ्रोअर
the
आ
face, and that's
सकता है?
exactly what they're
बस्टर
gonna do.
आ
They're
चुका
gonna
है.
go with a Buster here. They also have the deflector as well, so if there are incoming rockets, projectiles from Gene, or if it's just the heavy firepower of Meow on the Meg, assuming he plays it, Buster can really help with that.
चली
So I
आती है
think
ना
two
है पर
very
चार्ज
different compositions, but I
इसलिए
see the merit in both.
फ्रैंक. गलत जवाब. फ्रैंक इसलिए नहीं लिया जाता. पहली बात तो अटैक रेट बहुत स्लो है. सेकेंडली वो एक टैंक ऐसा है जो दूसरों को सुपर देने के लिए मशहूर है.
Sadly, cheering for Zay Division in this set, that means, but at the same time, either of them can win it.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned before, getting one set has taken
And
everything
spawn.
here, and to be expected. Some wall breaks going down for both sides. And we're going to get kicking off here. A much more aggressive start than we're used to seeing as well. Gray utilizing a gadget that we don't always see. He's going to be throwing down the grand piano here, trying to get that. And Garo making a nice connection as well, so it's going to be STMN a little bit on the defensive here, as Sans already has a super charged up.
Well, here he is then, obviously getting it from charging it by stood next to his teammates. But it is going to go down, and now he didn't waste his ammo shooting it. So we'll have some to back him off in the end. 2v1 down this right-hand side. But Meow and Garo trying to give the same treatment to Bobby on the left.
Looked like Sans was trying to kind of walk his team forward, get some control. The problem is, though, that Meg still outranges Buster, and then you have to rely on Zara to hit a lot of tags on the Meg. I think that matchup's going to be a little bit of a toughie for him here, as once again, it's back to Zay Division in control. Sans doing the same thing, walking up the right-hand side. A nice TP, though. A pull on the other end is, though, and it's in trouble. Makes the connection there. It's just alone. Now it's going to be Zar. Bobby going to be able to pick up this round for STMN as they close things out in the fog.
Yeah, he knows he can win that one, and a great connection from Piper there to be able to take down the slowed down Gene. Great stuff from him, but 3 supers ready to roll for the side of STMN and none for Zeta. That can't feel good.
Reset now. Round number 2, Zeta Division need to go 2 straight here. They can't afford to give STMN, a powerhouse of a team, an early lead here. Bobby, super in hand, Sands, Zar, all 3 of them equipped, and now they're going to be walking forward, rushing it down, a little W key action going in, but the pull going through, Sands tries to counter, Zar with the TP though, Meow is weak, they have to find a way to get in there, Zar had another TP, but didn't get out in time, they strike first, and now it's Bobby in a very difficult situation, 2 brawlers that can arguably do so well into him.
That was really cool from Bobby. TP in, jump out, trying to get some damage with those bombs, but didn't find anything. And it was Naui and Meow who now are able to heal up. Bobby just doesn't want to feed these supers, retreats back into the gas, and accepting defeat in this round. Back even.
I think that was really strategical from him too. And yeah, Gray did end up having a teleport there. I think was trying to get away, get in, get out situation. But Zeta Division had 2 quick of reflexes there. It's now going to be a 1-1 in our very opening game of set number 4.
Rocket Rain ready to roll from Gero here. Pull available as well, and that's flown under the radar too. They're not going to know he's got it. Well, with that connecting homemade recipe, they are. Now he's just trying to deflate some pressure after that hit. Did connect to Meow. Got to be cautious about this pull, because that is going to be the game changer for Zeta.
Both sides are equipped with supers as well, something that makes a huge difference in this game mode, especially towards those in games. Another nice connection as well. Bobby, low HP though, is forced to dive away, does manage to survive, but as a result, Zeta Division are going to have some control.
Gero raining fire on Sands, but makes no connections whatsoever. Restarting on this gene pull, they're not helpful in the decisive round. Sands in the back. Going to be pinching around with the shield now as well. Going to use that, but really not gain much ground from it. Now we're going to be so helpful in these closing seconds, just as Sands is. And Gero needs to keep on peppering down, needs to keep him low. Meow doing the same. Sands cannot be allowed to heal it, and they're doing a good job of it.
And now the fog starting to close in. This is where things get intense. Stamina strike first. The TB through the response back. Sands with the pull. Now deflecting, but the fog closing in. And the getting the kill there. Zeta Division survive and pick up the first game.
And how close it was as well. I didn't even see how Piper managed to die. I'm not sure how he went down, but it was obviously up top, some connections made. But it looked like an STMN round to me. When it was closing in, Buster's still alive. You expect STMN to take it, but Zeta Division made it happen.
Again, it's almost like Meg has 2 lives towards those end games. It's something really difficult to take care of. You got to deal with the robot, and then you got to deal with the regular brawler as well. As once again, STMN kicking things off with some wall break strategy. Gero on the other end wants to open things up, and Zar just letting it loose. Even makes the connection as well. That's actually going to be a takedown for both ends. Now it's a 2v2.
Sands trying to get some shots onto Naui here, wants his shield, but Bobby's going to try and provide that to him. Meow is going to be the one with the influential super, though, trying to get it. Now he just pinching round, working towards that swing that deals so much. And Bobby not able to do too much winning this spawn, so chooses to flank left.
And still a lot of time for the fog to really start making a difference here, but Naui and Meow in control as Bobby looks to let loose on the left, going for the more open space as a sharpshooter. Naui just establishing dominance on this right-hand end. Sands does have a super. He's now going to try and walk it forward as well as Meow gets the pull off. Bobby forces a super out. The get out of jail free card is now going to put him in a 1v1 situation as Naui has the HP going to walk it forward. The fog closing in, and Bobby knows the inevitable. A little heart as he goes to the grave.
One more for the heavily desired set number 5 for Zeta.
भाई मैं पहले ही बता चुका हूँ ज़ेटा है 5 बजे तक खींच के लेके ही जाएगी भाई तुम कुछ कर लो.
Rocket fuel comes through, breaks up some of that grass, but at the same time, you see a homemade recipe not really doing too much. Gadget used by Naui, going to get some heals from that. Rocket Rain on the left hits one shot onto Sands, but not a lot return on that.
Sands going to be moving forward to try and body block this for Zar. That was a real difficult situation for them. Keep in mind, Bobby with no super to get out of this. He's going to be moving to the left. Now a pull going through as well. Sands throwing at the block. The pull as well. Naui getting taken up here. Zar with a kill on the right hand. And Naui low HP now. The connections from STMN. The teamwork going through.
GG's.
A team wipe to pile it all up.
Match point.
How quickly that changed as well. Zeta Division looked dominant. They looked like they were going to take this set, but STMN said no, they're not done in knockout yet. Zar ready with his TP as well. Sands got the shield, Bobby with the jump, and only the swing available from Naui.
3 supers available now for STMN as well.
अगर STMN जीती तो इनका खत्म.
And Gero have 2 that can be big difference makers here. Even though STMN are on their heels right now, Bobby is now letting loose a little bit, going towards this left-hand end as now he rotates over. They have a teleport available. Zeta Division need to regroup here.
Yeah, they really do. It looks like they are doing quite well. Gene providing some heals to the Brock, allowing him to stay in the mix. But this TP has been pretty much the issue for Gero all the way through on this Brock. His TP in 2 shots, 3 shots, and he does go down. Pull, but jumped over. Pixel perfect from Bobby. Sands has this barricade as well, though. Zara has to retreat, trying to heal up. But Zeta continue this aggression. Shield gonna provide a lot of space.
Oh, GG's.
Now the pull comes in. Buster got the slow. One more shot.
GG's.
One more for Meow. He goes down. Now he missed the shot, but now coming in. The swing. He's there. But the TP, no heal. Using the other star power.
Oh, yeah.
And now he gets it. Set 5.
Set 5 incoming.
What a set on our hands. The 2 lives from Meg really showing off there. Everybody on Zeta Division side can take a deep breath for now. But it's all coming down to this. Fans of Set 5 across the world
पहले बोला भाई जीटा के मैचेस
This
हैं
is going to be a special match.
पपीता जैसे लंबे लंबे खींचेंगे.
Back and forward. Back and forward. Zeta Division and STMN putting on a show for the second day of the Brawl Stars World Finals. Brilliance from both sides, and it'll all be settled right here.
This is only match number 1 of the day, by the way. I expect 6 straight just nail biters like this all day long. Both of these teams bringing their best here in this set. I was really impressed. We had some insane pulls, some pulls for Sands as well, some tags, some sharpshooter shots. It had everything I love about Brawl Stars. Both of these teams are just absolutely phenomenal.
मैग इसलिए कैरी कर पाया क्योंकि जीन जो था उसको परमानेंट हीलिंग दे रहा था भाई. नॉन स्टॉप हीलिंग दिया जा रहा था. अदरवाइज उसकी बैंड कब की बच चुकी होती.
And as you say, it's like Meg has 2 lives. And you know, you said it in one of the earlier rounds, but in the last, it meant the most.
Yeah, it's just such a powerful item to have for you, the utility it can bring to the table, and I think it's why so many people are starting to prioritize this brawler. You know, even somebody like Bobby, if you're hitting the sharp shots, it's great. Ton of damage for Piper. But with Meg, you got 2 lives, you even get the shield in the mix as well at times. It's just a very strong force in this game mode. And this time, across the board, I think for both sides, everybody looking to be competitors in the numbers category.
I mean, the thing is as well, we just heard some comms from both of the teams, and you can see the different, you know, strategies of them. STMN, they're loud, they're aggressive, and that's how they play in game as well. And Zeta Division, calm, composed, just a nice little nice, you know, nice, well played. You know, it was huge. We get set 5, we might be able to win, but nice. You know, that's how it is for Zeta Division, though. Calm and composed. And I mean, it works for them, so why not?
Yeah, 2 very different looks at the competitive drive of these 2 teams, and it's all going to come down to one final set. We've got Super Beach on the way, some Brawl Ball action going down, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds here.
Well, this is the game, the set to decide this first game at Group C. Super Beach in Brawl Ball. Huge map for both of these teams, but I can't help feeling that Brawl Ball does kind of favor the STMN playstyle.
I love it. They've got some aggressive W key style. They've really embraced the way the meta works this year. But Zeta Division, they've shown up today too. It's going to take everything from both of these teams here in the final set.
थोड़ी जल्दी क्लिक करो आंसर. आंसर आपको चैट में मिल जाएगा ब्रो. मैं चैट में लिख देता हूँ आंसर.
This is definitely something the fans really love in this game clearly as well because it's so close.
चैट देखते रहा करो. मेरा चैट आपको अलग कलर में दिख जाया करेगा. वही आंसर है.
To see what brawlers these guys will be playing in the decider. Sands just getting ready to roll. Been playing his heart out today, and the rest of STMN have too. And their energy, it's infectious.
Yeah, I respect the drip as well. I saw the ice on the wrist.
The double watch. One on each wrist.
I mean, gotta show up. Confidence is key, Trav. Confidence is key. Gotta look good, feel good. And they're gonna have to feel really good on Super Beach here. As the bands come in, there's gonna be a Dynamite band, Shelly, Maisie, of course, and no surprise on the other end. You could tell that Zeta Division had that first pick because no Charlie, no Lou, no Rosa. STMN shutting any idea of that down real quick.
Yeah, no surprise for it either. Maisie's really been making a huge impact on the meta at the moment, and it's banned out as well. Shelly going to be along with it. A couple of hypercharges on that side, a couple of hypercharges on the STMN side too.
Match points वाले side आ
चुके हैं with this first pick, and I love it. Bit of Sandy.
Sandy is so good in the Brawl Ball meta as well. Keep in mind, too, with the gadget, you immediately put an enemy to sleep. So if you're on the goal side, they're just hanging out.
बोलिए commentary करो.
Toss into the net, and you've got
किस बात की commentary?
your hand. So they're going to take advantage of that utility. Plus the fact, too, it's just a solid brawler overall. So I think putting your faith in this in a set 5 makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, it really does. And I mean, the plays it can make with the sweet dreams are just beautiful. They really are, just shutting people down in the goal mouth and scoring that goal. Willow going to be the return pick. No Dino. Okay, we'll pivot. We'll take a different
बिल्लो
throw.
रानी ले ली गई है, बहुत
I'm
बढ़िया।
interested to see there.
Goldirock भी आ
Wondering if
चुका है।
Goldirock makes an appearance. I feel like grabbing this on the 2-3 turn makes a lot of sense to me. This is another brawler that I don't want to call it a gimmick, but of course it's similar to Shane.
लेकिन कोई थोड़ा
put somebody to sleep, get a goal.
अटैकिंग टाइप
Cordelia
नहीं
can
बचा है,
remove any
देखते
factor
हैं
he wants at any given time. Make
क्या
a
होने वाला
connection,
है।
take somebody to Shadow Realm. Willow in the same front as well. Can mind
करो
control
ना
an
इनको
enemy
म्यूट करके
brawler.
ला
Could
पैसे दे
literally
भाई,
have a self-score like the good old
उनको
days,
पैसे
not
मिल
just
रहा है,
with Willow's super. So I'm
पैसे
really
मिल रहे हैं
curious to
उनको,
see if the
तो अपना काम नहीं
Zeta
करेंगे
Division
वो।
responds with a thrower like Barley. Instead they're going to go
और
with
इसी के
Super.
साथ
They got one
स्टू
more
आते
decision to make.
हुए इन द
Yeah,
गेम
Studio can break down
फॉर
these walls
Zeta
with a
Division,
breakthrough,
what
so
going to be
even
the
if they don't go for a
third
throw,
and the
there's
last
gonna
pick for
be
the
a way to
Zeta
break
Division.
through
Let's
and get
see,
rid of those walls.
25
Willow
seconds
can't fight,
remaining.
which I'm
They
sure
need to
she'd
consider
like to, and I'm sure
as
her
an
team would
attacking
love
option as
that
well as a
Willow to
defensive
dominate.
war.
Like you say, make them score some
Billo
goals.
Rani
Zeta Division's
and
last
the
pick
Cordelius.
should be coming through shortly. Gonna be something
However,
pretty
it is
solid,
going to
I
be
imagine. STMN still seem to be left in the
option
mid,
to
though,
consider
so
also for
gonna have to go for that.
STM
You
and
can play Stu for
Esports
the
as
mid, you
well,
can play
that
for the lane, so
what they're gonna be
see the Buster
picking up
come in.
for.
And I mean,
Dealing up with the
against the
Buster,
Cordelius,
Stu,
it's tough.
and
It's a
the
tank into a
Sandy.
Cordelius. You know you're not going to be having a nice time. But I can't help but feel like Buster's always so good.
Yeah, I feel like
If you look
Buster's
at the
just been
map,
consistent lately,
they are
too. I
starting
really
it
like the spike matchup
with the
originally,
middle
but like I
grounds,
said, that's not necessarily
so
a
it is
traditional
not
mid
going
for
to
the
be
side of
easy.
STMN, so I think this is
If
going to
they
be
are
a
not
tough
picking up
decision
the
overall.
long rangers
Think
also,
throwing
then also
Cordelius,
it is
he
going to
doesn't
be
have
easy.
enough
But
range, especially
if you look at the
Stu loose,
stats,
it's going to get really tough for you if
Bobby
you're cycling out those supers.
and
Now,
Zar
of
is
course,
very
Stu,
good
by
in
picking this brawler, they have a
pulled
wall break
shooters.
option, and it's
So
going to
Jackie
be
incoming
We've
for the
actually
close
seen
range
this brawler
options.
this week
No
in
long
first
ranges for
ball
both the
action.
teams and
I
no
think Jackie
throwers
actually might be a
for
pretty good shout here.
Zeta
Against the
Division.
Buster. You
So
know
that is a
it's a
plus
Jackie.
point for
You know the
STMN
Jackie
because
against
they are
Buster's a
having
great matchup.
thrower
It's gonna feed a lot
as
of
well
those
as
sandstorms, though, and I think that's the saving grace for
the
Zeta
Willow.
because Jackie runs in a straight line until she gets that super. You know, you get it from being hit, so you know, get hit, and that's what
हिंदी में
that's
करो,
what Sandy likes about
हिंदी में करत
You
बानी,
absolutely opened up the
पैसा
year
नहीं मिलत
and starting
बानी.
off in our first monthly final. If in a set 5 for the World Finals, one of these teams put their faith in Jackie, I would have called you crazy. But this is 2023.
जैकी
This is
आबतानी और
Hypercharge
बीच
Madness,
में
and
हल्ला
this
हो
is
रखा
set
है
5
और यहाँ पे
Zeta
बिल्लो
Division
रानी
and
अपना उठा
STMN
के बल्ला
competing
फेंक
to
रही
start
है.
this group 1-0.
कॉर्डिलस भैया ने बॉल उठा के फेंकी नीचे, वहाँ पे
Zeta
जीटा डिवीजन अपना वहाँ पे हल्ला करते हुए और वहाँ पे निपटा दिए गए एक प्लेयर. दो बचे हुए हैं लेकिन थ्रोअर है इनके पास. देखते हैं क्या ये गोल जिली का आगे बढ़ पाएंगे, लेकिन नहीं, क्योंकि ये जीटा डिवीजन है और इसके सामने रिस्क नहीं लेना चाहेंगे. अभी भी पहुंच चुके हैं, सुला दी गए और ये आराम से गोल होते हुए, थैंक्स टू द पावर ऑफ द लुल. स्वीट ड्रीम्स यूज करके सुला दिया और इनको झुला दिया. और वहां पर विलो का अटैक से पता तो चल रहा है कि बंदे कहां पर है, लेकिन क्या ये इनको बचा पाएगा? लगता तो नहीं है. और जी क्या ये गोल होगा? क्या ये गोल होगा? नहीं होगा, बिकॉज क्योंकि बॉल जाके बिल्कुल एंड लाइन पे जाके रुकती हुई.
The goal of his life. I mean, that was moments away on the goal line. Sands returning to action though with a super available. The invisibility gonna make things a little tougher. Gonna take Naui down.
दूसरे डायमेंशन में लेके जाया जा चुका है. दो प्लेयर बचे हुए हैं. चाहे यहाँ पर गोल के लिए कुछ बचेगा, लेकिन लगता तो नहीं है. लेकिन पता नहीं क्यों जैकी ने वहाँ अटैक नहीं किया. बहुत बढ़िया सेव वहाँ पर. न्यू बॉल स्पॉन हुआ और यहाँ पे क्या गोल हो पाएगा? अभी बहुत बढ़िया चांस है और यहाँ पर इजी गोल 1-1 होते हुए दोनों टीम ऑन इक्वल्स.
Bringing it back then, Bobby hypercharge in hand, and every time we've seen this, we've pretty much seen a goal to follow. They're going to need something special. Willow dropping that gadget, big bomb of damage coming down. Hypercharge there.
और हाइपरचार्ज होते हुए यहाँ पे दो प्लेयर्स निपटाए जा सकते हैं और ये बहुत ही क्लोज चांस. और दो प्लेयर जा चुके हैं और इजी गोल. ये जी इस फर्स्ट सेट गोज टू STMN. और इसी के साथ इट इज अ मैच पॉइंट फॉर STMN एज वेल. STMN के लिए मैच पॉइंट आते हुए.
Everybody silent on the stage. The crowd.
क्या ये मैच वापस से सेट पॉइंट का भी सेट पॉइंट पे जा पाएगा क्या? जीटा डिवीजन एक और जीत के इसको सेट पॉइंट तक पहुंचाएगी, क्योंकि स्टार्ट बहुत बढ़िया करी थी जीटा डिवीजन ने. पहला बहुत बढ़िया गोल निकाला था लुल करके. ओ जी गुड यूज ऑफ द गैजेट, बट ज्यादा लंबा सुला नहीं पाएंगे. और यहाँ पर ये क्या गोल होगा? नहीं, एक ही प्लेयर बचा है, उसको यहाँ टेलीपोर्ट कर लेता, लेकिन वहां पे स्पॉन हो चुका है. They will go back, पीछे जाते हुए. लेकिन स्टू ने पूरा मचा रखा है कहर, क्योंकि लुढ़का दिया उसने सारे बिल्डिंग्स के पहाड़.
trying to keep that
और वहां पे
control
लुल
for
करने
the
के लिए
Zeta
पहुंच
Division
चुके
side as
हैं।
Bobby creeps forward, trying to disrupt things
ओ
here.
भाई
Sands moves up as
क्या ये
well, grabs
लुल
the
कर
ball,
पाएंगे?
fends
कर
it
दिया
off,
गया
takes
है।
Naui down to the Shadow Realm with a pickup as well, and now a breakaway here too. Garo forced back
ओ
on
भाई
defense.
क्या ये
Willow
क्लोज
with the
होगा?
super
क्या ये
wide
क्लोज
open
होगा?
net, doesn't
क्या ये
use the
इसको
super shot there, and a
नहीं
shot misses the follow through as well.
सुपर
Zeta
मिस
Division
करते हुए
survive.
वहां पर, क्या अगर वो सुपर मिल जाता तो गोल करने की चांस मिल सकती थी। ओ भाई अभी भी चांस है, बहुत इजी चांस है। क्या इजी गोल होगा ये? बहुत इजी। वेट करते हुए कि मुंह के सामने टाइम वेस्ट करेंगे उनका, 4 सेकंड का टाइम वेस्ट करने के बाद ये गोल होते हुए, और इसी के साथ ये मैच पॉइंटर गोल हो सकता है। और STMN ऑलरेडी ये लेके जा चुका है और बहुत इजी चांस है, वहां पे बॉल भी है उनके पास। क्या गोल होगा? नहीं, लेकिन खींच लिया गया है बाय बस्टर और गोल हो चुका है। इट्स ए गोल फॉर STMN एंड STMN विंस द मैच थैंक्स टू द बिल्लो रानी, जिसने माइंड कंट्रोल करके उन्हीं के प्लेयर से उन्हीं का गोल करवा दिया। लेंस तालियां हो जाए फॉर STMN एंड फॉर द 200 पॉइंट्स फॉर मी।
When it came down to the final moments, Trav, an incredible way to start off day number 2 here as the handshakes go off. STMN, of course, victorious, keeping North America undefeated, but my goodness, Zeta Division are a force to be reckoned with. Nouns, who we're going to see very shortly here, are now fully aware that these two teams are going to be a toughie for them.
Well, Zeta Division's still alive.
Sorry for those
Spot they wanted to be.
74% people जिनने
them at all, but STMN off to a beautiful start as they do have that initial win in their pocket.
Starting off 1-0.
Zeta Division को वोट किया हुआ था।
They now have a little bit of a security blanket, right? By winning this matchup, they put the pressure on Zeta Division, because if Zeta Division take an L here in a second, it's secured, it's over. We know how things are going to go down, so Zeta Division are really going to have to do it all over again here very shortly.
What's that? North America 5-0 in the World Finals so far, you know?
You love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm European, but that is a convincing statistic to me, Kenny.
It's actually insane too, and you know, we did have an interesting year with North America as well. We had North America West, we had North America East, and of course, you know, European region is the deepest region in the world. I mean, I think it's safe to say, but STMN, the tippy top of North America, these three teams this weekend have just come alive and really showcased how far the region has come as a whole.
And I mean, regardless of the split, they seem to be as strong as they have ever been. Brilliant moments, but look at this as well. He gets the drag back, gets him off the ball, but the Willow
आ चुके हैं 200 points
for STMN, and look how much it means to them.
Let's go.
Even the first win in this group means that much. Statistics-wise, though, San 6, Bobby 8, Zar
अब
4.
वापस से Zeta versus
On the other
Nouns।
side, just not comparable.
Bobby on the Jackie, little pop-off there. I mean, top fragger, exactly what you need to do as the big tanky brawler. Look, like I said before, Jackie is a solid brawler, but it's very map dependent right now. And to me, you have to exude confidence in that pick. This is the World Finals. There is no room for error, and putting your faith in a brawler historically, that hasn't always been great. That's a little scary, but these boys are simply built different. I have mad respect for making that decision, and it ended up being a huge reason why STMN are kicking off the day 1-0.
Zeta में वो बात नहीं रही,
But it worked.
तो वो जीटा है ही कहाँ? मैं तो पहले ही बोल रहा हूँ, मैं तो मंथली फाइनल से वही बोल रहा हूँ।
MVP then, because you know, I've got a bit of a hunch of who it might be after that last one. Well, actually, I was incorrect, but Sans it is. And I mean, he made some great plays. He made some really solid plays, almost clutched some games up in knockout, and throughout the entire series, really was a very solid player.
Maybe the people at home just noticed along with us of the double drip on the
भाई नाउंस में कौन है? अभी दिखेगा, इसलिए मैं वोट किया ही नहीं। अभी दिखेगी टीम तब सोचा जाएगा। मेरे को इसलिए मैं पहले वोट करता ही नहीं, क्योंकि नाम देख के मुझे याद नहीं आता कौन सी टीम में कौन है। हर साल तो चेंज हो जाता है।
All of the matches today are going to be brilliant.
नहीं तो अगर ऐसा होता तो मैं तो हमेशा जीटा को वोट दिया करता कि अरे जीटा तो 2 बार की विजेता है भाई।
6 best of 5s going all the way today.
You're not going to upset me if we get that. Look, I think the people at home are Set 5 fans as well. I can't get enough of the good Brawl Stars action. Kicking off yesterday was already phenomenal, right? But taking a step up today. This is some serious elevated competition here on day number 2.
I mean, I feel for Zeta Division, I really do, but STMN thoroughly deserved that win. Zeta still have a chance. They've got to beat Nouns.
What is the name of the season 21?
It doesn't go to that time because you don't want to be dropping those kind of sets. I mean, at least they got some back. You don't want to be taking these losses.
Bizarre Circle, ये तो पता ही होगा।
We are going to
फिर
take
भी
a bit
कोई
of a
पूछ रहा तो
look at
सेकंड
the
वाला भाई.
updated group, see where people lie. And yes, it's only after one match, but Nouns Esports sitting in the middle, haven't played yet, will be up next. STMN 1-0, Zeta Division 0-1 to kick off the day.
Yeah, Zeta Division have to make a turnaround here. This is going to really dictate how this final match goes. We haven't had a situation yet where we've had a tie of 1-1, 1-1, 1-1. Obviously, we have tiebreaker rules for that, but as CMN, if they win one, set and secured here if they win their final match, which will be the third match of this group. But for now, Zeta Division in a must-win situation. Otherwise, we're going to have a possibility of the #1 seed in Europe going home before the single elimination bracket.
And that would be devastating, but that is one game down. 5 more bangers still to go. But we've got a bit of behind-the-scenes action for you, so let's take a browse.
अबे टीम तो दिखाई नहीं रहे लोग, किसको वोट करूं?
This is where the teams will be sitting down, doing the scrims, watching the matches as well, and really nice and clean. Everyone just being able to relax and just be able to be as productive as they possibly can. It's super casual, you know, really, really nice. Got the iPads set out here, and got the gaming chairs, fruit, Pedro, and the players, of course, and the staffing team. Yeah, really just a nice chill environment. Everyone's having a blast, and for me, that's what makes the World Finals so
एक
great.
मिनट बाकी है.
It's just a really nice.
छोड़ो यार, नाउंस को कर रहा हूं मैं तो.
Don't get to do it very often.
जरूर दिखाई नहीं रहा है.
To do it like this.
80% जीटा को मिला है, 20% नाउन को मिला है. जिसको करना हो करो, मैं तो नाउन को कर दिया भाई.
So making sure that everyone's comfortable is the most important thing for us. So there you have it, a little glimpse behind the scenes here at the Brawl Stars World Finals. Pay attention to social media, we've got more backstage content still to come, but as you can see, everyone's having a blast. Stay tuned for more.
Yeah, good to hear from Mark there as he takes you behind the scenes here at the Brawl Stars World Finals 2023. I'm Mitch Leslie now, of course, joined by Mr. Kung Fu Kenny. What a matchup to start up Group C. We knew this was going to be the group of death, but my goodness, it was deadlier than we could have expected. But for those who are trying to chill a little bit, maybe get out of the maelstrom of action that's been happening here at the stage, we've got some fantastic areas to chill.
मेरे मोबाइल में लैग हो रहा है, क्या ये कुकी एक्सेप्ट नहीं करने की वजह से हो रहा है? बिल्कुल गलत जवाब. कुकी एक्सेप्ट करने से और ज़्यादा लैग हो सकता है, बिकॉज कुकीज़ आपकी डेटा को खाते हैं, रैम को कंज्यूम करते हैं, इसलिए तो कुकीज़ हैं.
I said before this started, I thought today was going to be maybe the greatest day of Brawl Stars.
नाउन को तो जानते ही नहीं ना, प्लेयर दिखाएगा इन लोग ने. विनवी सिटीज स्वीडन में हो रहा है, स्वीडन में स्टॉकहोम में हो रहा है क्या? एंड या नहीं, जोंकोपिंग में हो रहा है, जोंको पे. जोंको
very quickly off the back of that crushing loss to STMN. Remember they let that bell through one.
लिख दिया भाई फर्स्ट.
Again, Nouns are
जोंको को कर दो भाई.
we talk about how they play in that South American region, obviously primarily Brazilian team. They though have been mixing it up with Europe for quite some time now.
देखो नाउंस को हम नहीं जानते जो दूसरे रीजन का है, लेकिन वो जीत के आ रहा है भाई. और नाउंस को तो खेलना भी पड़ा LCQ भाई. LCQ खेला ही नहीं था शायद उन लोगों ने, तो फिर तो और बढ़िया टीम होगी. तो यार नाउन को कर दिया गया.
Absolutely. I mean, when they came into the Snapdragon Pro Series, Nouns did with a bang. With an absolute bang. I mean, and to my understanding, they're in good standing right now to be a feature at the finals. They blew away teams like Foot Esports as well. Like a number of teams were like, oh, okay, hang on, these Brazilian guys are frightening. They did drop off a little bit in that last week of play, losing a key matchup to VN Esports.
Oh, Fire Grow Pekka Motive.
I've just got to give him credit.
बढ़िया खेलते हैं भाई लोग.
SPS open to play inside the challenge season.
चलेगा, मैं तो नाउंस के साथ जाना चाहूँगा.
Let's go and welcome our players, and for all that and more, we can head over to Frankie.
2 more games remain in Group A, so let's get this show on the road. First of all, with the team you just saw give it all they've got in our opening matchup. It's Zeta Division. That has been stuffed with potential. We have some serious damage dealers on this roster and a strong mentality that ensures that this team has been able to regroup and get ready for this matchup. And their opponents, Nouns Esports. Firecrow, Motep and Pekka is so committed to being the best in the world that they spent the past few months in Europe getting ready for this very stage. And it sounds like they brought Brazil with them. It's time for these teams to show us what they've got. And it's going to be commentated by Kung Fu Kenny and My Time Mitch.
Gone are the days of come to Brazil, everybody. In this day and age, Brazil comes to you. And my goodness, this is an exciting roster. Firecrow, got to be one of the most electric players in that South American region. The third, fourth place in 2021. This team is the real deal. And again, they have spared no expense to make sure that they are as competitive as possible here at the World Finals. They've been here since like mid-September. So they have spent plenty of time out here. I want to talk about Zeta Division because a lot of people are probably a little surprised to see us not predict them to win any games. That is wild because we're talking about the #1 qualifying team from EMEA with the most monthly final wins under their belts. And yet
cookies reject कर दिया था वापस accept कैसे करें हिस्ट्री पूरी क्लियर कर दो क्लीन करने के बाद सब चीज़ जब क्लियर हो जाएगी तो जब वापस से वो साइट खोलोगे तो वो फिर सब पूछेगा कि डू यू वांट टू एक्सेप्ट द कुकीज और तुम इंटरेस्टेड हो तो कर सकते हो सिंपल एज दैट
I think to the audience at home, trust me, it is a coin flip through and through, but this is incredible. 80% to Zeta Division to the 20% in Nouns, and the fact that Nouns won this matchup the last time they played and people still are going this hard at Zeta Division, I think reflects how, teams value, the people at home value Zeta Division. But I feel like Nouns deserves more credit than 20%.
Yeah, absolutely. And in recency, right, Zeta Division, they failed to qualify for the SPS Season 4 Challenge Finals, right? This is like supposed to be your #1 team in the EMEA, so some doubts about their recent showings, whereas Nouns also fell off a little bit at the end of, of that league play. But this is a different stage, a different setting. And both these teams here to bring the energy. I saw Coach Inso obviously walk off with Zeta Division and he wins that.
Zeta Division टीम इसलिए आ गई क्योंकि इनका जो कोच है वो पीछे सो रहा है खुलेआम फोटो में दिखाई देते हुए कि उनका कोच सोता रहता है इसलिए इनकी टीम हार जा रही है
ready now to deliver because this is your last chance to stay alive in Group C.
Yeah, I'm very nervous for Nouns. The fact that they lost in such a heartbreaking way, this is going to be a real test for Zeta Division of how they recover. Are they going to come out here, sweep it off the rug, and just come out swinging? Or are they going to dwell in the past? And I would expect this team, #1 seed in Europe, to dwell in the past. And for the first time in a long time, we get to see Rosa on one of her strongest performances.
Who left Rosa open? My goodness, she was insta-banned basically every map in that previous series. Let's talk about Grasping Roots. That hypercharge on Rosa really takes her to yet another level, but she's always been strong when there's plenty of bush coverage.
Rosa was the second most banned brawler yesterday. We had Charlie, and then we had Rosa.
Charlie being a must-ban.
Yeah, every time. And you're going to see it. We've seen a 100% this weekend rate of if you have the second you're getting rid of it.
ओ भाई साहब डायनामाइट दिखते हुए यहाँ पे
see him on the main stage. It wouldn't be a World Finals if we didn't have Dynamite.
Dynamite comes in here. I mean, again, a very powerful brawler if you can get the most value out of him. The amount of burst damage Big Barrel of Boom provides you is pretty insane. Great to see it from Nouns. And of course, on a bounty map, not a shock to see throwers in general. Tick obviously still open here amongst others. And much of our sort of must bans have already been picked up here. Both teams banning Lou. We saw Shelly taken out. Eve, of course, given Canal Grande with that water in the middle. Sandy locked in for Zeta.
Sandy going to be a very solid shout here as well. Again, in a mode where kills are the only things that matter. The Sweet Dreams gadget, you put the enemy to sleep, you line up some shots. Those pros aren't missing. I also love that they grab Gray in the mix here too. The teleport can get you across the canal, which is obviously a big feature on this map. Not to mention too, you can send your big bulky Rosa to the other end into a squishy Dynamite and do some real serious damage.
Now, Peck is going to have his wits about him here because at the drop of a hat, Zeta Division could be all over Nouns. And so they bring in some tanky presence of their own. Motep is going to be locking in that Buster. Again, we've seen a lot of value gained here from that slow-mo replay gadget, that pull. We've seen it to counter Daryl compositions, on knockout maps, for example, to try to drag him away from his intended target.
Going in now.
Bit of a look on your face there. Looks like you might be favoring the Zeta Division draft here.
I think I am, in the sense that just on paper, it's going to make sense matchup-wise to me. You know, Dynamite is going to have to be a pop-off brawler here. There's no way about it. You have brawlers on the other end that are healthy, and he's going to have to hit his stuns, hit his shots, stay out of gray range.
Lens bomb.
Rosa doesn't sneak up on him. You know, they got Sandy over here with a decent amount of HP. I think Nouns are just going to play this together, and they're going to have to top frag here.
All right, Walking Kane there, just tugging Pekka in the direction.
थोड़ी सी घास क्लियर करते हुए विद द हेल्प ऑफ द गैजेट, यहाँ पे गैजेट से चार्ज हुआ है और यहाँ पे कुटाई हो सकती है और दोनों ने यहाँ पे ट्रेड कर लिया है और ये ट्रेड के साथ एक और वहाँ पे किल मिलते हुए बहुत बड़ी एक और चांस है, लेकिन वहाँ पे हेल्थ नहीं यूज कर पाएंगे और यहाँ पे अलग ही लेवल पे वहाँ पे लेके गए, टेलीपोर्ट करके ले जा चुका है कॉर्डिलियस।
They're going to end up being okay into that composition of a Rosa. They're still playing this together, though. They're sticking close because they know at any given moment a Rosa or a great TP could end it all.
Might need the satchel charge.
ओ भाई जी क्या ये ट्रेड होगा? बिल्कुल हो जाएगा, लेकिन वहां पे उनके साइड से कोई ट्रेड नहीं मिलेगा बिकॉज काफी कम हेल्थ के बावजूद हम बचाते हुए ये क्या यहाँ पर रोजा, लेकिन थैंक्स टू द कॉर्डिलियस बार बार भाई रोजा का गेम बजाते हुए। ओह भाई साहब 11 हो चुका है भाई, एक साथ घूमते हुए झुंड बना के, झुंड में तो भाई कुत्ते आते हैं, कुत्ते दम है तो अकेले जाओ, रोजा के सामने अकेले जाके बताओ दम है तो भाई साहब अरे भाई आ ही नहीं रहे अकेले तो, जहां जाना है साथ में ही जाना है भाई। मेरे को लग रहा है कि इनकी टीम में इतनी सिनर्जी है कि छिछी भी दोनों साथ में जाते होंगे।
Maybe after one final push here for Zeta Division. Now he has a teleport and a super available. Gonna be waiting to make his move. They're gonna want to do it as a unit now. A lot of stars lined up. Aircrow is now he moves in. The stun going down, but the kill on the right hand end as Pekka looks to play defense. He can afford to get in the mix here as Nouns Esports.
Or easy peasy for Noun Esports. GG's first set, first match goes to the Noun.
Fantastic stuff from Nouns, and they are brimming with confidence here, not only to bring the Dynamite in, but to get so much value. They have a stun of their own. Is it as reliable as Sweet Dreams? Maybe not, but when it counted, you're able to connect it.
Yeah, and I mean, Firecrow played that brawler to perfection there. There were a couple times where I thought that man was a goner. A nice
ब्लू स्टार मिलने के बावजूद इनको कोई ज्यादा फायदा हो नहीं पा रहा है, क्योंकि नाउन्स की टीम ब्लू स्टार भले ही ना ले पाए, लेकिन किल्स निकालने में बहुत ही ओपन चल रही है। और मजे की बात तो ये कि झुंड में चल रही है भाई, एक ना एक को तो लेके ही आते हैं लोग। जी जी, जैसा कि मैं बोल रहा था, किल्स तो भाई किल्स तो निकाल ही रहे हैं लोग, कुछ करें ना करें किल्स तो लेके आ ही रहे हैं। लेकिन मुझे एक चीज समझ में आ रही है कि जब इनको ब्लू स्टार मिल रहा है तो क्यों ये लोग इतना ज्यादा पुश करना चाह रहे हैं। जीटा भाई पुशिंग सो मच, जीटा को चाहे इतनी पड़ी है भाई।
Motep here again with the super to create some space, and he bounces some shots back at Meow. A key mistake made there. Now he, as durable as he is running out of teammates, and my goodness,
भाई साहब पूरी टीम फिनिश करते हुए उधर पे।
No joke. This is going the way of Nouns all the way through a teleport. Little Sweet Dreams and a big pickup there. A huge difference with the stun goes through the teleport just in time. Gray with a big pull there. Firecrow trying to line it up. 2 stars and somehow he survives. 13-12. Zeta Division with the lead.
1-star lead here for Zeta. Now we're going to take that TP to try and back up on Motep. It's going to be a battle of tanks here. Rosa wins those 9 times out of 10. Desperately the Dynamite, Firecrow in the background trying to get rid of this Rosa, but she's just too.
ये पॉइंट जाएगा जीटा को, लग तो रहा है। ओ नहीं, नाइस वन, goes to Zeta.
And take the round. 1-1 Zeta Division with some pop-off plays. The survivability was unbelievable right there from Gray. I don't know how he got by with that, and towards the end of that game there, once Nouns had 4 on Cordelius' head, it was pretty much impossible with 96 to dodge every single shot from the other end. So we're going to go into game number 3 with an expected 1-1.
Now we're to keep clear of much of this damage here from Firecrow. Unfriendly bushes.
GG's बहुत लो हैं दोनों। और किल मिलेगा, बिल्कुल मिलेगा, लेकिन ट्रेड कर लिया भाई, लेकिन उधर से भी ट्रेड हो गया, डबल ट्रेड हो गया है। No, 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 no.
Back and forth stuff here. Firecrow quickly wants to return to the fray.
Teleport on the ground as well. Firecrow asleep in the moment, but a
Oh my, kill hai.
going down on the map there. Still a lead for Zeta Division. A teleport over, and they're looking to put some icing on the cake. What a jump with a nice jump away, though. Will survive. Nouns are in trouble now. The sleep goes down. Now he pursuing, but it's going to be a survival there. And after all of that chaos, 1 star making
1 point की lead में.
Wild to see still such a close
Zeta.
game as the dust settles after that engagement. Again, Motep quite trigger happy there with that montage. Really wants to try and close the gap. Another unfriendly bushes, so this could be dangerous here for Nouns. Pekka falls back. Blue Star, yes, but running out of teammates. Garo runs him over, and Zeta Division in a position to take this away. Just 1 more elimination, Kenny, and that'll be that.
Nouns have to play this perfectly. They're moving as a unit. Pekka jumping in on the action. Now a teleport going through. Motep low HP, and that's going to do it there.
GG's.
Zeta
And the
Division
side goes
with the
to
opening.
Zeta.
You screwed up your nose a little bit when you saw the Buster last pick from that Nouns draft. We knew that obviously Rosa always favor when it comes to a battle of durability.
अच्छा
With
से
the
शुरू
mobility added by those
किया था I
dimensional
don't know
doors
how
upgrade.
मेरे
Very, very
14-30
hard
हो
for
गए
Nouns to decide
तो वो
when
तो
and
होने
where
ही
they
है
fight.
आज डबल पॉइंट्स मिल
Nouns
रहे
just
हैं
had to work harder for that one.
ये तो टॉम एंड जेरी खेल रहे हैं भाई देखो जीटा जब तक खेल रही है 5वीं साइड तक तो मैचेस जाने ही हैं तो इतना कुछ सोचने वाली बात ही नहीं है
better than that. They clearly had a strategy in mind, and they went with it. It's a really, really well-rounded composition. Dynamite has a role as a top frag. Buster's there more for defensive measure to expand their way as well. I liked it. I think it was good. But at the end of the day, Zeta Division did what I kind of expected to. I liked their draft on.
मेरे आज 6 out of 6 होंगे
We have
अच्छे
some
हैं
moments from the map that was there.
बीच में क्वेश्चन आया था हाँ भाई 400 पॉइंट का क्वेश्चन आया था नहीं किया क्या इतना लिखने के बाद भी तुमने नहीं किया
Sandstorm comes down, a lot of map control just gets taken by Zeta Division. See the energy here of Nouns, right? That's going to be a huge factor for them here, but they've got to be frustrated to have let this set go begging.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, you know, despite some of the opposition, some of the matchups not going their way, they played that strategy very well. I think that was a very unique way of doing things. You know, Zeta Division has 3 different brawlers, very unique, very diverse in what they bring to the table, but they didn't necessarily have to stay together. They could all use their designated roles, and Nouns very insistent upon playing it as a team.
Yeah, I feel like at some point Nouns realized they had no choice. They were priced into a fairly close quarters fight. As soon as they see Rosa Grey locked immediately, they're like, okay, well, how do we answer this? We can't really just like, you know, play something that counters tanks here. You know, we need something that can have some durability of its own, and obviously the utility offered by Buster is a pretty big deal. That was an unbelievably high.
फिर से आ गया क्वेश्चन which team secured the first seed from Revenant Esports भाई ये तो पता ही होना
Definitely
चाहिए
get a sense, Kenny, that both these teams really wanted to take each other's measure here in Yonshipping in this first set. And hey, not only has Zeta Division gained a lot of information about their opponents, they've also got themselves on the board early.
Yeah, I think it's big that Zeta Division win this, especially coming off the heels of.
अरे ये तो पता ही होना चाहिए भाई रेवेनेंट इंडिया के बारे में पूछ रहा फिर भी तुम पूछ रहे हो यार इंडिया से एक ही तो टीम है
Zeta Division all putting up stuff.
फिर भी
Fire,
पूछ रहे हो यार
Pekka,
ची
Motep, all equal in the kills
ची
category.
ची
There are
ची
no
ची
weak players here on this stage.
Our next set will be double swoosh. It's time for gem grab, and it's a map where we've seen obviously countering the bushes be a huge part of the strategy. Whether it's a psychic enhancer Tara, we've seen teams bring Amber into limited success, I feel. So it's definitely going to be a situation where you should ban Rosa again.
First brawler I thought of, I said, no way they let this one slide again, right? With all the bushes on the map, the hypercharge in the mix too. Rosa, too darn good. Here it goes without saying, but I have to say it. No Charlie allowed here. Lose somebody that I'd be interested in banning here too. Some of the basics there. But otherwise, there's a lot of options here for double swoosh.
Look, right now with Charlie being, must ban, you're a little bit of a disadvantage as second pick here because you basically have to ban her. If you take the risk and leave it open, your opponents sort of pick it up. We haven't really had a chance to discuss her at length here because she is just so devastating right now. So expect to see her locked away pretty much straight away. Yes. So Zeta Division. Oh, the Rosa is open. Oh, why is she getting through?
This time it's Nouns clapping. They're the ones that get it this time. We get the big bad Rosa. Again, the second most banned brawler yesterday behind Charlie for a reason. Very strong, and this is a map that they can definitely use her, even if they start to open up the grass and things like that. Rosa is still so much of a threat in the right hands.
Absolutely. And now we have a chance to see how Zeta Division in
मुझे तो लग रहा है राक्षस जो है
You notice that Grey was banned.
ट्यूशन में जाके आज यही करने वाला है.
Given that Nouns had first pick here, that they
जैसे
go for that
टीचर
kind of
पूछेगा
strategy.
क्वेश्चन
So
या
the
आजू
Maze
बाजू
gets
पूछेगा
one
आंसर
team.
क्या
Talking
बता
about
जल्दी.
Grays, I think a couple of days ago we said, I don't know why more teams don't try to play Max actually into this Maze. He thinks that Max definitely can be very effective, especially in a matchup of safe mids. Not sure if Nouns feel the same way. We're going to find out either way.
Maisie is actually a very powerful brawler right now, and I think to the casual fan like myself at home, we don't necessarily understand the presence of Maisie. It's something that Ark and I went back and forth at when we casted SPS as well, but Maisie had a 67% win rate yesterday and was the second most
IPL
picked brawler,
cameraman.
and my boy Gale gonna make it
Wow.
once again today. There are maps where I like him, and this is one of them. And something like Kaboom Canyon, I can see things going really wrong really quickly, but the visibility he brings, the slowdown, the twister, there's just so much, or the spring ejector for that too. He's got good utility and can often be a threat into those tanky brawlers.
That's definitely a case to make for him on Kaboom Canyon. The spring ejector getting you back into the center of the map really quickly was something that a lot of teams lent on
अबे चूज
heavily.
करो भाई
Here
क्या
also
कर रहे हो
is
5 सेकंड बचे हैं.
Perhaps not something that these teams are really looking to leverage to the same degree.
Jesse.
Here for now. And again, a Kaboom Canyon pick we've seen from quite a few teams. Offers a lot of control, but in gem grab, how does that role differ?
I think for Jesse, the turret is going to be huge, especially in those mid walls. They're going to be looking to use Jesse likely as a mid here. They're going to be trying to just kind of outrange, get some bounce shots in there. I think Jesse can actually work out pretty well as a mid. It's something I've seen messed with in practices this week a good bit, and I think overall can definitely be an option as Spike is definitely going to take on a lane role, and I think Spike is a very slept on and very solid lane option, not only in this map, but a lot of different maps right now.
Absolutely, really dependable. Of course, that life plant in a pinch can add a heck of a lot of value, unless you're going up against a Penny, of course. So definitely something you want to bring in here. And of course, we've seen with Hypercharge, by the way, 3 Hypercharge brawlers for now. So they've made it pretty clear how they're trying to play Brawl Stars this weekend. But yeah, obviously, just having that availability, the raw stat boost plus those extra effects. I mean, the 2.0 turret for Jesse is definitely not something to sniff at here. So the Cordelius is the last pick here. Now, if you're Zeta Division, what are you looking to really do or answer with this Cordelius?
Well, now you've got multiple options into the Rosa, which is clearly a threat to them. I think Cordelius is a brawler too. The interaction he has in Gym Grab is a very interesting one. When he hits you with a Shadow Realm, those gyms are going to be a problem to pick back up, especially as he drags you down. Now they have multiple answers for Rosa. They've got Gale, who may struggle a little bit into this spike lane here too. Cordelius not going to have the range as well. They're going to have to play this very carefully, but I think there is an argument for Zeta Division's comp also being very strong.
Okay, so obviously, Nouns with a very strong tank, a good control brawler in Jesse, and of course a dependable laner in Spike. And Freddy Bushes pop straight away here, more so for a bit of information now. Gero has him now to snap up those 2 gems spawning on his side. But remember, disengage always available. Oh, he disengaged into the wall. I don't think that went to plan at all. Gero drops early and drops the gems with him.
A team wipe here for Nouns to kick things off. Zeta Division not starting this one out strong. Very interesting layout off the beginning too. They sent 3 to the mid/right. They just left now alone, and now they're piling up the kills here. A pushback is all they can do, and a 7th gym now claimed for Nouns.
My goodness, Zeta Division have to collect themselves awfully quickly because this is going to go from bad to
अभी तक तो हॉरर डे साबित नहीं हुआ है रोसा के लिए.
Hypercharge, Spike, super used there. Pekka really overextended on the left.
क्योंकि ऑलरेडी मतलब 8 जेम्स मिल चुके हैं. देखा जाए तो जरूरत है भी नहीं उनको इतना ज्यादा.
Gale Force used to a limited impact, but Pekka looking worse for wear. Gonna have to try and crawl away from the fight.
Zeta Division getting scarier here too. They have complete map control.
They are here for the gems. 2 gems चाहिए.
Top right-hand quarter just spinning and pinning right now. She's just trying to breathe for a moment. Zeta Division really letting loose right now.
Pekka gonna push up here. Here comes the
भाई.
instant Shadow Realm here for Meow to limit Pekka.
पकड़ा गया है, पकड़ा गया है. बेचारा भाग नहीं सकता.
And Gero, does he know? He lacks the critical.
और गया.
Pekka jumps on him and walks away with 3 gems and a sliver of health. That'll be enough to get us into the countdown.
GG's.
Now he thought he could get a kill there on the Pekka because otherwise they would have dropped those gems. Pekka now with a super in hand. Fire Crow healthy and well, but Gero and now you're going to try and get the pinch here. Motep on the return. Pekka popping a shield and all is good here.
GG's for the Nouns Esports.
Very well played for Nouns Esports.
Pekka goes so aggressive at the start of the round. He says, I'm going to go forward here. I'm going to use my health as a resource to give you guys some real estate. A huge lead built there at the start of the round for Nouns as Gero gadgets into the unbreakable wall with 3 gems that can't
Amazing
beat
Allu.
the plan.
देखो इनका प्लान सिंपल है, बहुत ही सिंपल है कि भाई रोसा भले ही पिट जाए, उनको जेम से मतलब है। रोसा जाके कुटाई खाएगी लेकिन जेम्स दिलवाएगी।
Micro's done well to get 2 gems, I think, given how horribly this has started for Nouns, losing Motep all too early. Falco wants to step up here. Meow has to jump back over the wall here. Pekka starting to set his feet in this left-hand side of the map, but now has that strong stuff available, but a little bit low for his liking. Now he harassing him constantly. Motep into the Shadow Realm here. Falco trying to back away, but can't escape from now with the Gale Force thrown out. No stun from it, but Pekka will be staying.
भाई पूरी भसड़ मची हुई है।
Smooth sailing so far for Zeta Division here as Pekka begins lurking. With low HP is going to recover for now as Motep tries to do a scouting report. Firecrow collecting.
स्टार पावर बढ़िया ले रखी है जिससे वो बार बार रोसा हील कर पा रही है घास के अंदर। इस बार ज़ेटा डिवीजन बहुत ही डोमिनेट करते हुए।
Gero with 5 gems, here comes Pekka, hypercharge of course, grasping roots an option, but he's holding onto it for the time being while he's in the Shadow Realm. Gero down to 6 here now, we're trying to move up the left-hand side, Gale Force thrown out, but Motep stays alive. He's thinking about the super, but Pekka's already ahead of it now. The durability lacking though, he can't descend on the backline of Zeta Division, but many of those gems go wayward. Gero though, the designated carrier picks him up and they're at 9.
Nouns with mid control, and this is a big moment. They've got 9 in the pocket of Zeta Division, but here Pekka being fierce here. 1 gem in the hands, and there it goes. A big one to pick up here for Nouns Esports. They have the mid.
9-9 हो चुका है।
They have another turret in their pockets.
Micro looking to set Scrappy up here, make it hard to
अरे उठा लेता।
Again though, getting exploited by now. We unfriendly bushes popped here as Pekka hopes to find the gem carrier somewhere. Strong stuff used, but gonna be knocked away. Firecrow not looking great either. Into the Shadow Realm, but instantly dragged out of it as Motep comes off spawn with a trade. 9 to 11 here. Nouns have to go forward, but Motep is cut short even after the super. Pekka can scoop this gem up though.
ओ भाई 1 सेकंड का डिफरेंस और वहां पे एक और जेम स्पॉन हो चुका था। भाई साहब वेरी क्लोज।
This has been a heck of a match too. This is what we expected all day long. Everybody bringing it as Zeta Division. Crack the shoulders a little bit, get a little loose. Now they're feeling it. They really have cranked it up in gym grab.
Oh, they've recovered. I think it's safe to say they're finding their sea legs so far through these rounds. Going to be heading in the game in just a moment here. For those that are here in the arena now seeing that Gero with the gadget use here, I've got to say Motep is struggling on this spike.
And this is complete control once again for Zeta Division. They get a tag with Gale as well. A nice pickup and kill there. A drag to the Shadow Realm, and the matchup that they're looking for here. A Cordelius into a tank matchup as Firecrow's dealing with things up top. Motep lobbing up shots. Meow survives. A light plant goes down, keeps Motep alive, but nonetheless, it's Nowie with 5 gems.
Motep has to throw the kitchen sink just to stay in the game right now, Kenny. It is tough out there for Spike fans. Sticking around, thrown out. Just 1 tick would have been enough to take Nowie down, but he was outside of it. Still, Pekka with the strong stuff, able to move up and take some space. Nouns need to use this to even up the gem score, but the pressure's too much. The shockwave from Gero, it's a trade.
Jesse now with an established turret. A little bit of a slow down there as Pekka's fighting things here. Pekka gonna go down as a result. It's even money right now. The Jesse turret is gonna waste some resources for Zeta Divisions, and now they're back in action.
Important to have Jesse allow Nouns to stabilize there. That's why they threw themselves so aggressively to the left side of the map. Gero with that hypercharge up here. Bit of a distribution of gems right now as Gero has to be a secondary carrier. Now he not the intended recipient of those 5 gems, but hey, you've got to make lemonade sometimes.
पीछे गेम पड़ा है तो ये लोग जानबूझ के 10 गेम उठाना चाह रहे हैं बस।
Neck and neck right now. Meow without a lot of range. Gonna have to rely on some fancy footwork. A unit now moving forward though. The red roster expanding their presence on the map. It's Pekka on the left-hand end. And now up a charge going down for Motep. He catches through in the final moments.
kill. अबे नीचे kill कर नल्ले.
Because he's in the underworld. Nice plays there as Pekka activates the super. A major pushback. And it's Zeta Division with the countdown.
Not good enough there from Nouns. Having Motep taken out of the game was absolutely critical here. Vicro still playing with a decent number of gens, and of course we'll have another one spawn here. This will reset the countdown. Now we know could be a problem. Pekka tries to move up, hypercharge activated, the raw stat boost is there, but there's no super available. He just builds it up, but he has to walk away. The grasping roots may not have an opportunity to make an appearance here now as we're into the countdown once more. 2 gems, of course, now up there for Zeta Division. Pekka staying close to the middle part of the map here. He'll get himself one, but they've got to go. It's got to be now. Meow with 4. Vicro backing up here now. 12 to 11, waiting for them all spawn, but it's going to be a knockback of Pekka and Zeta Division.
GG's. Zeta wins 2-0. रोजा की चटनी बनता हुआ ये.
That's the value that Gale's utility can bring to the table, and now you really start to see why it can shine.
High hopes for Nouns coming into the World Finals here, but it seems the sleeping giants have awoken. What a pivotal win there on Double Swoosh to give themselves at least a feeling of stability now. They are 2-0 up in this series. Can you believe that Nouns already staring down the barrel of a clean sweep?
And it's crazy too, and I almost feel bad. I mean, they have been playing a heck of a job here, and they're still the ones, unfortunately, with a deficit of 2-0. It's tough to win a set against any of these teams. Nouns previously won this matchup against the Zeta Division as well, but right now they are feeling it and are gonna have to pull off the unthinkable, a reverse sweep on a World Finals day.
Something we have not seen quite yet. That Gale Force in the final moments you see there, again another buzzer beater, as you pointed it out, there was just wasn't enough time for Nouns to even up the gem score here. In those dying seconds, a lot of very careful posturing around the gem hatch from Nouns, completely undone here by the Gale Super. Pekka gets knocked away, that gem is on the ground and gets gobbled up by the Gale instead. Stunning micro play there from Zeta Division.
And the numbers simply piling up for Zeta Division, 10 and 9 for Naui and Meow respectively. Garo, even though high DPS, did his role well, and Fire Crow
Nouns comeback कर सकती है knockout में. करेगी भाई, करेगी. How did STMN World Esports qualify for World Finals? LCQ.
Times grabbing those kills is necessary, and they just weren't keeping up in that race.
Now he's sizing up his opposition here. We're hoping to get in the head of Nouns Esports as they have to be starting to feel the pinch here. Zeta Division slowly but steadily have built a commanding lead in this series, and we're heading over to a spicy one. It's Dueling Beetles.
This map is always a really interesting one, and I'm not hearing a lot of noise from Nouns Esports right now, and I think that's something big that they rely on. They're gonna have to find that energy, find that momentum again if they want any chance. They're gonna have to take it one at a time, and that's gonna start right here on a map where, to me, Lou a must ban, Charlie a must ban. Even Rosa has an argument here. Rosa is somebody you still see come out as well. Maisie can do a good job. I mean, a lot of the culprits we had win that last game can easily be eliminated in the ban station.
Looking for strong side laners here to really dominate and allow you and your mid to go 2 versus 1 for control of the hot zone. So Maisie instantly snapped up.
Going to be a mid option here. Some aggression, some decent range, and of course a hypercharge as well. Going to make a world
क्या के चक्कर में मिस. वाओ, कितने पॉइंट्स हुए पता नहीं भाई. मैं पॉइंट्स के लिए थोड़ी देखता हूँ. पॉइंट्स तो कि वैसे भी हो ही जाएंगे. 1652 तो हो ही गए हैं. मैं अभी सिर्फ और सिर्फ लोगों की MVP बस करूंगा ना, सिर्फ और सिर्फ MVP बस चूज करूंगा, तब भी मेरे हो जाएंगे भाई. पॉइंट्स की तो चिंता ही नहीं है. क्या ही करूंगा पॉइंट्स का. पॉइंट्स तो इजी पीजी है भाई.
Nouns here might be thinking of something a little bit similar. Colette obviously maybe in the lane assignment can struggle, but just throwing yourself at that hot zone with that empowered time to collect, that's a scary prospect here. 2 brawlers with decent amounts of mobility, and this time Zeta Division say, we'll take the bell for ourselves.
Makes a lot of sense too. Like you pointed out, the sharpshooters can do really well into Colette. Colette's biggest struggle is always those brawlers that outrange her. Colette does really well in these tanky options. Any brawlers with a ton of health points. We even see what it could do into Pam earlier today. And somebody like Maisie, it's great. And they're going to go ahead and play a little chess. And they're going to go ahead and select this brawler, knowing that 1, it's good for the game mode, and 2, it's really good into their first option.
It's possible that, you know, Meow first picks that Colette just to try and dissuade Nouns from picking up a Pam, for example.
सोचो अगर Zeta यहाँ पे Nouns को हरा दे और Nouns स्टैमिना को हरा दे, तो फिर क्या होगा? कौन पहुंचेगा? क्योंकि तीनों के भाई एक विन तो हो ही जाएंगे.
Big fan of what Nouns have started with here. I think rounding out this composition as well with the B, they now have a long-range threat, somebody that's going to do well into Colette. They have a thrower with Barley in the mix that's going to do really well into both of these brawlers, especially considering there's an indestructible wall on this map. And then they've got Maisie to just go out there, get aggressive, and be a top fragger. Zeta Division with 10 to go are going to have a tough decision.
And Maisie is just so well balanced right now. She has the fact that her super is a close range super that cycles quite easily, but then much of your raw damage comes from long range play. And then you have like a pseudo phase shifter, of course, in that disengage. You just have so many options there. We see the Rosa picked up here. This indicates to me an aggressive tendency for Zeta Division.
This is going to be an intense one. Some high-powered compositions for both sides here as both of them look to engage on the screens of their tablets. They're ready to go here. Nouns Esports need to come alive right now. We're going to have to see the best from them against Europeans' #1 seed.
Who walked off stage looking absolutely
भाई
bloody
मेरे हिसाब से
furious
फिर उस
after
केस
that
में
loss to SCMN.
ये लोग इस तरीके से डिसाइड करेंगे कि कौन कितना डोमिनेंट तरीके से जीता है, ओवरऑल कितने सेट्स जीते गए हैं, किस टीम से कितने सेट जीते गए.
And here comes that time to collect from Meow, no connection, but again, very much zoning. Nouns away from the point. It's going to be Mote coming forward with a shockwave. It'll be a trade. Pekka rotating onto the point now, as Gero's been a bit of an issue for the B.
There's nothing scarier than the unknown Uber, and anytime you have a Rosa lurking in a large degree of area is going to be terrifying, as Motep going to go ahead and power up a hypercharge here. Fire Crow marching forward, Pekka in the mix as well, but Zeta Division holding strong, and now has hypercharge of their own, making a double kill there. Clear victor in that interaction, Zeta Division.
Absolutely. This is working out beautifully for them. I'm going to say the Grow Light is a great gadget to bring in here. Covering that point in bushes. Pekka does well to deal with Meow, but now he could be anywhere. Could be absolutely anywhere. Iron Hive there thrown out just to try and keep the Rosa at bay, but now he wants to come forward. Firecrow has got to respect it.
This last pick, Rosa, is making a world of difference. No way to disrupt the grass. Motep now diving in immediately, goes down though. Pekka in a world of hurt right now. 2 taps there from Gero, 1 connects, 80%, and now climbing for Zeta Division.
Oh, this draft has been sublime for Zeta Division, and they've followed through with the gameplay. Pekka forced back now. He says, I'm happy to give it up here for the time being. Meow's getting so much time on this point. Pops the gadget. Firecrow falls. It'll be up to Pekka if he wasn't already marked. And that was one-sided as it gets.
Easy
That was
peasy.
the strongest showing
Match
we've seen from any
point.
team in an individual game today. That was domination from a Zeta Division. They are really
Match
looking
point
fierce
पे आ
right
चुके हैं
now.
हम.
And I do think that the Nouns
For the
Esports
Zeta.
composition looked good. It's fine. It makes sense. But at the end of the day, the sneaky last pick, Rosa, so good because it's just going to sit there and get some free punches on you. Somebody like Barley, even though he may not get touched by Rosa, he can hide behind the walls. He's certainly not doing enough damage into the high HP brawler.
Well, it's now or never in this series for now. Zeta Division stand at match point here. Pekka here wants the pressure now we're down. I like that. The Rattled Hive just to really punish that Rosa. But Mao's able to come through with the time to collect. Firecrow was hoping just to get an elimination, and he does. This allows Pekka here to send Nouns to a bit of an early lead.
Nouns have to rely on control here. They can't let Rosa get out of hand. And now Rosa going to get a super down and easy kill as Meow piles on another one here. A trap on the right-hand end as well. Pekka, left-hand long lane. Going to be leading here, but Zeta Division certainly threatening now.
Iron Hive, but I don't think Meow really cares about that at all now. We're having to set up these bushes, and there's not really any bush destruction on the side of Nouns. Motep is marked on that right-hand side. Another good Rattled Hive. Here's Firecrow, pops down that heal, but Meow pushes straight up again. A Colette shield means she can do what she likes in that super. And, well, Nouns are falling behind once more.
Pekka getting really aggressive here, though, and is rewarded for it. A nice pickup there. Now he's still in the grass, and now a dive forward from Motep. A nice connection there, and an engage that works out very well for them. Nouns now with a narrow lead.
This all starts with Pekka connecting with 3 players at that Iron Hive and able to push in and take advantage of the slow it provides. But now he's going to come in with the grasping roots. This could be a problem. Motep falls, but Firecrow makes himself scarce. Plays around that left-hand side of the Beetle, and now is able to come in with a point-blank shot. Gero though falling now, trying to bring things back with that time to collect, but Motep is back and with a
Good comeback for now.
Esports, big moment for them here. They need this game. Zeta Division on match point, and they're at 90%. Now we trying to take a stand here. A bounce back from Motep, but a takedown on the other end. 2v2, a run forward from
Hypercharge!
Arrow survives 98.
98%.
Zeta Division have a chance.
Oh, this is a scary prospect now. Nouns are on the precipice though of keeping it alive, just 2%. So throw yourself at the point. Make sure you can
Arey
push up.
घुसो भाई घुसो.
Trying to dissuade. Motep's gonna fall down. I can't
अरे
believe it.
भाई क्या देख
2%
लिया.
away and Nouns can't get
अरे
it.
भाई क्या देख लिया मैंने.
Beaver Pack is taking the
क्या
lead.
देख लिया.
Motep inside that hypercharge, but he falls.
हार गए.
And Zeta
भाई क्या देख लिया मैंने. 2% नहीं जुटा पाए भाई. और इसी के साथ जीटा डिवीजन
Europeans #1 seed is not going home yet. Insane performance, insane bounce back, and now they have to wait.
I have whiplash from one game to the other. The Zeta Division have come alive. Going 1-1 in this group, very, very important. Especially if we get to a situation where tiebreakers come into play. Having a clean series win here is so important.
Yeah.
This team, this European juggernaut, they're far from done.
3-0 is a huge moment. Just keep in mind too, when we get down to tiebreakers, if we have that event, you know, we get set win percentages in the very first category. So being able to come out cleanly, absolutely insane. Not to mention too, just the fact that they beat such a powerful team 3-0 here on the world stage.
हो गया है
really shows
जोड़ों
that
में दर्द.
STMN might be pretty darn good, and Zeta Division are still right there with them.
I mean, it's a very different day than the last time these two teams played in the Snapdragon Pro Series Season 4 Challenge, where it went all the way to 5 sets here. And for fans of Nouns, first of all, we all predicted Nouns to win this. I just want to re-establish that. But for fans of Nouns, like, we're going, what's going on? Where's that fire that we're looking for here? This is a team that has invested heavily in setting themselves up to perform with the very best, with a long boot camp in Europe. So they have got to be absolutely fuming with that result. And how much can you take away from an 0-3? It's tough to really take any form of confidence going up against the juggernaut of STMN is waiting for you.
Yeah, unfortunately, the team that beat Zeta Division today is right around the corner for them.
Yeah.
That's tough. I mean, I didn't expect Nouns to necessarily 100% win that, but 3-0 was not in my range of outcomes. I think this just really reflects you have to play to your top game in Zeta Division. I was scared for the team of Nouns after that loss. An angry Zeta Division team might be even worse than just a calm-headed Zeta Division.
Yeah, absolutely. While maybe their countenances haven't changed too much, they still have that look of grim determination on their faces. This last set was, I mean, that was really one-sided. You get the Bell, you get the Rosa, you know, Grow Light just consistently adding more bushes over towards that point and, you know, daring your opponents to step in there up against the Rosa. The draft was, I mean, light years.
1-3-7 हो गया. Wow.
Nouns, I like the brawlers, but at the end of the day, the Rosa sneaky 6-pick made a world of difference. You know, they
मेरे
had good
1-7,
matchups
6-2
again.
होगा.
Matchups aren't everything.
Yep.
Zeta checked the boxes in strategy. They had a back pocket there with the Rosa, and even though Pekka put up a big 452,
It's disgusting.
they still ended up losing it. It's just part of the game. You got to play the objective, and Zeta were simply better at that.
Yeah, it definitely felt like at times we saw Motep, I think back in that first series, that spike pick that we were definitely questioning, saying, okay, how's this supposed to work? And in fairness, Nouns get the Rosa pick on double swoosh. Such a powerful way to, you know, build up your draft. And they're not able to find any success with it against that Gale. I'm sure you're very happy about that. I can see your Gale senses tingling as we watch that draft sort of play out. But having the option to stave that Rosa off, to make it really hard for her to sort of connect with you is so important. And that's something that Nouns didn't have available to them on Dueling Beetles. Let's talk MVP here. As always, a number of really key candidates here potentially deserving of this particular award, but I think I have an idea of who I would put forward here. It's going to be Meow for Zeta Division, who, by the way, even in that losing series against STMN, had an unbelievable amount of damage set after set. This guy's on fire today.
That's where my head was at as well. I think Meow deserves a little bit of a shout from our chat at home. He's been unbelievable. It feels like his presence is known at all times. The numbers are adding up. I mean, that just makes complete sense for me from an MVP standpoint.
Absolutely. And coming in now at 1-1, Zeta Division absolutely have control of their destiny after that match. A 3-0 is really important. They will have to wait and look on and see.
आपने लगता है कि MVP मिस कर दिया. आप ये में से कम पॉइंट्स कैसे?
of how this
क्योंकि मैंने नाउंस को वोट किया था समझे, इसलिए वो MVP वैम्पी से क्या ही करना है। वैसे भी अभी मैं कुछ भी नहीं करूं तब भी मेरे को हो जाएंगे पॉइंट्स। तो
Nouns have found themselves without a win. There is a world in this group of death, Group C, where all of our teams end up at 1-1. It depends on the score of this last series, how that would all fall out here, which means there's so much to be decided still in this last match of Group C. STMN Esports versus Nouns, rehashing a rivalry that was built up over that North America, South America play over the years. That one's going to be a blockbuster.
I think so too, and I did pick STMN to originally win this one, and I'm definitely sticking with that. I mean, it's hard to have a ton of confidence in Nouns after that. They're still a great team. They could shake it off and all good. Sometimes they're like Stamina, right? They're the kind of team that thrives off the energy and motivation from each other, and sometimes that's enough. I think Nouns just need to see themselves get one. If they take an early loss or two in sets, I really think STMN might run away with it.
We said that STMN have a tendency to start a little bit slow sometimes, so there is an opportunity, a window there for Nouns. If they get out to an early lead, they might be able to take the game over. But there's something special about watching two teams that are extremely momentum-driven. You know what I mean? Two teams that really rise and fall off of, how the previous map's gone or how the crowd's sort of getting behind them, right? That's going to be a fun element there. It's going to be quite an element of variance, though, as we look forward towards this next match. Bobby didn't get MVP in that last match. I think that was a mistake for me. I think he was unfreaking believable. That Bell, especially on Ring of Fire, I mean, that was the only way, those constant marks connecting, that's the only way they were able to deal with that hypercharged Colette. I'm curious to see how this one plays out, but let's not waste any time. Let's get him out on the stage. And we're going to head over to Frankie.
नाउन जीते तब मजा आएगा, सबके 1-1-1 मुझे देखना है एक्चुअल में। अगर वो जीत जाए तो मजा आए, देखेंगे होगा क्या उसके बाद।
Is going to be an interesting one. We know Nouns have to put on performance of their lives, but they need to do it against this North American powerhouse. Is STMN. They came through the last chance qualifier, but going by their performance that kicked off today's show, they are ready to keep fighting because all that matters is the final destination of this trophy. And their opponents, all the way from Latin America. It's Nouns Esports! The pressure may be on this team's shoulders, but they know they have the voices of the Brazilians on their side, fans watching around the world and here as well in Sweden. And I can see so many fans piling in. They know the match is about to start. Yeonjuping, take a seat. Get ready to make some noise for these players and give them everything you've got as we head over to our casters, Ark and Uber.
Thank you, Frankie. It is time to witness the conclusion of Group C. A very tightly contested group here. But with Nouns getting swept in that previous match arc, there's a very clear condition for STMN to satisfy to advance.
How many teams are competing in World Finals? ये तो सबका easy होना चाहिए भाई.
If it comes down to that set win percentage, they're going to have that little bit of an edge. But oh my word, I'm just blown away watching backstage. The caliber, the quality.
अरे भाई 4 तो ग्रुप हैं, इसमें हर एक में 3 टीम है, तो 12 ही ना होंगे भाई. ऐसी कैसी बातें करते हैं आप लोग ना, मजा आ जाता है सुन के कभी-कभी तो.
Some of the best brawl that we've seen in quite some time, and it got us very excited to see STMN hit the stage once more. But let's be real for a moment. That was not the Nouns, that was not the level of play from Nouns that we were expecting to see at a tournament.
Hello Mrinal.
Nouns need to bring their A game. This is actually a matchup that Sam was very keen to display on socials, that he was wanting. He was waiting for this one, and they've never faced together on an international stage. And for the first time, we're going to be able to see the fireworks go down. 77% on event.brawlstars.com, siding with STMN on this one. 23% from Nouns, but I do believe it's very true what you're saying. We have yet to see the best from Nouns. The question is, will they bring it now?
Couple of holes in their drafts, perhaps. Couple of brawl picks they should have left in the drafts. And STMN here, I mean, they looked incredible. And you make a great point. Last year, we saw this team take the stage with OG. Sans could not be here. Someone who was really touted as a rising star in North America. And it makes sense, right? We actually haven't seen the the squeak yet from Sands. That was something we kind of expected to see brought out a fair bit here. We also saw Zar put in some very difficult lane assignments. A lot of Mr. P, or just playing like the weaker brawler in some of those matchups, you know, providing utility to the rest of the map here. Curious to see if he still has that role here, Ark. Cordelia snapped up straight away here by Nouns, of course, as we head to split.
Yeah, just to add to that as well, you know, for me, Sands is playing out of his mind for what is his first World Finals. You've got to remember, on the side of Nouns, Motep is his second, Pekka's is his second, for Firecrow is his third. You know, there's a lot more in terms of world experience on the side of Nouns. I'm glad to see the Lu ban. I mean, I was saying this all day yesterday, right? You kind of have to ban it regardless.
8 awards.
The things that Zuan did with that are probably banned in multiple countries in the Schengen zone, I think. So
do make sure to drop a like and subscribe.
Bobby walked up stage after that match, said, I can't believe Sands got MVP. That is absolutely rigged. He was furious about it. So let's see how motivated he is here to put up another big performance. Ruffs picked up here by STMN. Of course, you have that wall break potential with that supply drop. And again, the indirect damage from bouncing shots makes you a pretty strong side laner too. At the Rosa to supplement the pick.
Ooh, that is edgy. That is edgy. I mean, there's a lot of harder counters still available to it. So, I mean, if Nouns want to pick up something along those lines, they've already got the Cordelias. I mean, they're picking Rota into Cordelias already. They could double down and bring in a Shelly as well and just have that additional wall break advantage to be able to then choose your sides. I mean, this is a dangerous game, actually, that STMN are playing, but they do know that Nouns are that similar kind of caliber of team. They like to bring in their tanks. They like to bring in a lot of El Primo and such like that. So I think just kind of preempting that, Dynamite coming in, and you know, you might snarl at that one, but don't get me wrong, this brawler is bang back in the meta and definitely causing a lot of problems along the way.
Yeah, again, we saw Nouns pick it up as maybe an answer to the Sandy of Zeta Division on Bounty.
As a tank.
What? Is this the Frank?
फ्रैंक आ चुका है.
Oh, okay, you had better.
कौन बोल रहा था फ्रैंक नहीं लेते? ले भाई तेरी इच्छा पूरी हो गई है. फ्रैंक आ चुका है.
It's kind of wild, but that's why I quite like it as well. I mean, it's very
Frank
to watch
is
able to cycle those hammer
here.
shots, but I cannot remember the last time I really kind of saw it come in. It was always not a bad one to have on split.
Maybe on Siege. You know, anyone remember Siege?
फ्रैंक is here. और शैली भी आ चुकी है. इधर से फ्रैंक आते हुए, उधर से शैली आते हुए, दोनों जाके जंग करेंगे. जंग.
Dealing with this Frank now is definitely going to be on the agenda.
I mean, it's certainly going to be one of those really tough brawlers to make work. In a Rosa matchup, if you're just able to kind of juke your way and dance around those shots and try and get behind the Frank each time,
वनारा फ्रैंक आएगा. देखते हैं कौन सा वाला फ्रैंक आता है. लगाओ सब लोग, तुक्का लगाओ. कौन सा वाला फ्रैंक आएगा. जल्दी लगाओ, जल्दी लगाओ. जल्दी बोलो, जल्दी बोलो. किसको क्या लगता है कौन सा वाला फ्रैंक आएगा.
Now remember, as we pointed out at the start of this match, it's likely that STMN only need one set from this entire match to guarantee their movement out of Group C. A horrible start though for the Shelly there as Sands gets pummeled on the left-hand side of the map.
Well, Pekka connects really nicely there with the gadget, and that's going to keep him on the zone, but Sands will just be charging up that super, and as soon as he gets it, with the help of the gadget there as well, gets a double splash onto Firecrow, but that's a nice break from Zar. Meanwhile, it's still Nouns in the lead.
Some serious back and forth here now as Zar's been sitting on that right-hand side. Obviously going to be very hard to shift. There's Pekka blowing open that wall here. Much of the wall taken off the map already. Sands able to do a Firecrow here and able to double down with that raw stat boost of the hypercharge. Job done for the Shelly.
Really nice from Sands. I mean, every single shot landing the mark and not done yet. Firecrow goes immediately.
अरे भाई.
Lovely left-hand side lane control, but the big bomb from Motep will seal that side. And meanwhile, Pekka is going to go down on the right, and that's going to be then enforcing.
कुटाई कर रही है जो उसकी फ्रैंक थी भाई.
The clay pigeon gadget though for Sands has been crucial for some of those longer range shots. Firecrow brought down. Zard wanting to tickle the point, but oh my goodness, the super from Motep connects. Bobby and Pekka, big bad bustling brawlers going at it, but Bobby's Fists of Fury come up second against Pekka's Hammer Time.
And now Nouns take the lead on the right-hand side. Sands has got a lot of work to be done. A good connection, but now forced into the realm, and Bobby's got to go in. It's neck and neck tied game. Nouns are doing the unthinkable so far.
And they're looking good on the right-hand side. Sands needs some more time there. This is dangerous stuff for STMN as Nouns get further and further ahead. Shadow Realm used there by Firecrow to suck Zara into it. Now Pekka going to throw the hammer down. And Nouns with a bit of a stronger grouping on the right-hand side, are able to sneak a game win away
और
early.
फ्रैंक भैया जीत चुके
quite
हैं.
surprised, honestly, because I felt like STMN had a pretty firm handle on that early game, especially on the left-hand side. I mean, Sands was just playing fantastically for me. Really was bringing everything out of the stops. But that right-hand side is where it all came down to for me. And I think fair play to Pekka. You know, Frank is not an easy brawler to make work, and he made it work.
And the irresistible attraction gadget means that those walls disappear awful quickly. And you can get drawn into your death, which is a bit frightening. Motiv going to blow up some of those walls as well. Bobby lurking. Pekka trying to punish here, and my goodness, he does. That is all too easy for the Frank.
Well, lovely helping hand there from Motep as well. It's just a really good amount of synergy, good communication coming from Nouns, and Pekka breaking up that entire right-hand side. Bobby coming in, trying to decide as to which way he's going to go for. Getting a few taps onto Pekka, and the final blast from Sands will prevent him and stop him in his tracks.
It's not bad there. Sands coming to the rescue on that right-hand side, but now still have a significant lead, and they're capturing both points at the same time right now. Sands pops the gadget, but very quickly, Vicro slinks away. Sands going to pop out in front of Pekka here. This is a scary prospect now. A Shadow Realm drops it. Sands to fall. Sandbags thrown up, and now the Grasping Root's going to be activated by Bobby. He's looking for Pekka, but Nouns have that right-hand side now to take. Left hand already locked up, and STMN have not spent any time on that left themselves. Sands now has to go.
It's not unwinnable here for STMN, but it is a lot of work to be done. A lot of damage coming in as Pekka's going to fall as well. That's exactly the start that STMN needed to have here as they approach 70%. If they keep this up, it can be turned around, but Nouns are going to turn up the pressure cooker now.
Sands can 1v1 anyone on the left-hand side, but Nouns are paying attention to the right. It's going to be Bobby now, again, with that super, but Firecrow brings him down. Sands trying to juke the damage out from the Frank here, but it's Nouns with Firecrow, the last player standing.
GG's.
And that's a set to Nouns already.
That was the start that Nouns needed to have. They have had little to no momentum so far, and that could be the start of it. Very nicely done there from Firecrow. It's normally Pekka who takes the mantle with that Cordelius pick, so I love the way that he was going uber aggressive, and you can see there just dancing around Sands. Sands was not really able to do much about it, and as quickly as that, the set just...
जुबा में बहुत हाई लेवल प्लेयर्स के साथ मैच मेकिंग होती है, इसलिए नहीं खेलना छोड़ दिया. वाओ, मैंने खेला था एक बार, ऑनलाइन ही खेला था, लाइव पे खेला था, मजा नहीं आया था.
Over in that NA West region, very spirited back and forth with that team, and has put himself in a position to compete here. Let's talk about the role that Frank plays here, because he was so fearsome, especially with that frequent gadget use just to win the 1 versus 1 against Rosa.
This is what I love about the World Finals. These are the brawler picks that are kept in the back pocket, the ones that you don't talk about and just keep for the times. We saw it yesterday with Reply Totem in that 5th and final set, bringing in the Rosa, the Max, you know, and it just worked out as a strategy beautifully well. No one saw that Frank pick coming, but into the Rosa, it just worked. It was going to be a tough one to make work, but credit to Nouns in that regard. They know how to play their tanks, and that's what makes them a scary team.
They've got to be happy about that. It's such a slow start here. Remember, a clean sweep for Nouns would be absolutely massive and throw this all into chaos. Sands with a whopping 414 DPS.
10 takedowns as well. I mean, you know, for all intents and purposes, the man of that set. But it is all about the objective in Hot Zone, and that's where STMN struggled to gain that control over what Nouns brought to the table. But
Nouns कुछ स्क्रिप्ट के बाहर दिखाओ.
Again, this was the matchup that STMN wanted to have. They were very excited watching Nouns perform throughout the SPS Season 4 in the EU and MENA region. And wow, they've got their wish granted. The question is now, how do they respond to this? They are behind.
Such an interesting group here for STMN, because they've not played against Zeta or Nouns in the last year or so. These are not teams that they're particularly experienced with in the first-hand sense. We're headed over to Brawl Ball now, folks. It'll be pinhole punt that we dive headfirst into.
Certainly, for Brawl Ball, you've got to highly consider brawlers like Lou. We didn't see it necessarily as much banned out yesterday as I would like to have seen Charlie today. I'm going to put down a wager that I don't think we're going to see Charlie once this World Finals. And if that happens, what a meme that will be.
The team picking second basically has 2 ban slots.
Yeah. That's kind of the reality that we're in at the moment. But certainly, for now, you know, bringing in a couple of tanks wouldn't go amiss for me. Primo is very much up there in terms of what they've been thinking. Buster for sure as well, which is not banned in this instance. Or is the Lou, and that's a scary thing already. I mean, those things are wide open.
I mean, B and Spike banned by both sides here, with the Rosa taken away, and of course the Charlie, the must ban Charlie rather, there for Nouns. this is fascinating. When you have teams that have the same bans, it opens much more of the roster up, and the Lou, he gets slurped right on up by Sands.
Sitting at breakfast with Corey from Tribe yesterday, I was discussing in the hotel, why did you ban Lou as much against you? His eyes went wide. He was like, exactly, I have no idea. What are people thinking? I mean, Nouns may have missed the trick, or are they expecting that? Are they playing into some kind of strategy here? But certainly, you know, against tanks, Lou is a fantastic pick to have.
What's the answer against Lou? Because it's really the hypercharge that puts him over the top.
Yeah, an instant stun, you're really left to the environment to, you know, encourage a takedown. Buster, I really like. I do feel like that is a solid draft from Nouns. Still, of course, can be very difficult
ग्रुप
to
डी
take
मत
down.
देखो, गेम खेलो. अरे गेम तो नल्ला चलता है. देखने में तो इन्हीं का मजा आता है. ये गेम देखने में मजा आता है, खेलने में नहीं आता भाई.
Good starting hand. STMN now gonna pick 2 brawlers to follow up.
Bobby, brother, pick Frank. Do it back to him, my guy. Crow going to be locked in here. Slowing Toxin very important, and when there's an opportunity to
Sandy,
get on there and dive. Love the Sandy pick up hitter as well. It's so important to stop a player in their tracks. Basically translate that to a kill in many cases. You've got to stop the Stu from running away with it.
Exactly that. I think the stand is probably my favorite pick. Actually, the Crow, it's pretty solid. It's pretty decent. Again, that slowing Toxin, like you already mentioned, is really the key there. But
so much CC on this STMN drafts.
Dynamite coming in. I mean, that's definitely daring.
It's so based. Keep it coming, bro.
I mean, a lot of teams were saying that they were considering Dynamite yesterday and didn't bring it in. Well, Nouns are really doubling down on that. It worked in the first set. Why not keep flying it out there and trying it again? And I quite like it. I think that it could be okay here.
Yeah, look, consistent damage, it's very scary if you start getting caught up in the cycle of those shots. Also, satchel charge for a stun has been a frequent answer to Sandy. Now, give us some form of stun. It's less reliable, of course, than Sweet Dreams, but it's a great answer to have. And I guess the mobility of a Crow composition, wouldn't go astray. Motep here loses half of his HP the second he steps up here. Sands wants to try and push back. No gadget used just yet. But now it's with the speed zone. Have the initiative in the middle part.
Yeah, that trickle down of the poison just eradicates the 2 Dream stun because it's just going to bring you back into the mix. And Pekka now in a 3 versus 1 tries to find something, not going to land it. And that's exactly what STMN need to do to stay alive, keep that healing quality coming in, move the ball gradually forward, and keep the pressure on. Sands making a play here. Sven is there, and it goes in. Lovely play there from STMN as an opening hand.
You gotta respect it. It's well known, commonly followed strategy of that Sandy stun into shot. They were not ready for it though. Firecrow blown to smithereens here as Pekka wants to step up and he will equalize it. These two teams, no respect.
That's the beauty of having a wall break, isn't it really? There's so little that can be done to defend against it. There, Motep with the shielding, trying to push his way forwards. No connection though with that gadget. And it's the STMN so low on that left-hand side. Stan's going to seal it, but meanwhile, Motep is still standing, which means the STMN have got to slow themselves down just a little bit.
That burn from Firecrow, crucial there to secure the trade. Bobby, with that super available, Firecrow definitely steps out of it, but almost gets frozen up here. We'll try and wrap around. Sands also threatening now. The Sandstorm deployed. Over the top goes the dive, and Pekka is annihilated. Motep's in trouble, and you better believe this one's hitting the back of the net.
GG's.
What a response. What a night and day difference to that first set from STMN. That was a walk in the park as far as I was concerned. And what a calculated process towards the end as well. Having that hypercharge on the Lou, it was just very straightforward. Just start out the Buster. It's a 3 versus 1. I mean, but they are making those moments happen for themselves. They're not playing it bad. They're playing it absolutely beautifully. Nouns, though, got to pick up the pace here. Got to start to come through and make something for themselves.
Now, Firecrow there. Got stopped in his tracks once more as he tried to step up here at STMN. Oh my goodness, this one might be slipping away from Nouns awfully quick. Firecrow will be forced back inside his own goal area now as STMN jockey for position to look to convert on this map control.
Yeah, Nouns have got to be very cautious for Sands here. If he gets a gadget at just the right time here, Sandstorm going down, and that's where the unpredictability comes into play. Nouns just trying to find any motion for Sands. The left hand he's going to get taps as well. 2 will fall, 3 will still stand for STMN. It's just Pekka. He's popped the gadget early on with the satchel charge, and that's making STMN think twice.
Yeah, definitely. They don't want to walk into a stun there and have things turn around on them. A defensive speed zone deployed here by Firecrow now as he knows Nouns need to get back to midway down the field. They'll corner the ball for the time being as they know they really need to regain some map control, but Firecrow stunned up there by... That's Lou ultimate, and here comes Zard diving on in, Pekka low.
Oh, bhai sahab.
I mean, that had to land. And STMN didn't falter. A good stun there, but not going to find a connection actually from Pekka. That's probably going in very aggressive. Oh, Motip still standing though. Stands full HP, going in really hard on this left-hand side. But the big bomb from Pekka in just the nick of time.
Micro's going to burn down there. That poison ticking is such a pain, especially combined with the sandstorm of Sandy. You can never heal if you're playing in the middle part of the map as Nouns. Such powerful composition here from STMN. Blue super up. Sands as well, looking at threaten Motep, who'll be starting instantly. That's the buster out of the equation. Zar picks up the ball on the right-hand side of the map, but Pekka has the damage with Firecrow moving ahead. Zar now has to give ground. This is dangerous. Firecrow just walks it in.
Yeah, Zar there too low to do anything about it, and that's what Nows needs. When they did, it's 30 seconds left on the clock, so going into an overtime scenario, not the worst of places to find themselves in. Zar going in, gets some good trickle damage, the pass through from Bobby, and Zar find it, there's no gadget on the side of the momentum, and the goal is
अरे भाई
And with that set win, whether they know it or not on stage, STMN may well have secured their passage to tomorrow's Championship Sunday. The one set was all they needed, but you know, just as well as I do, this team will settle for nothing less than a W.
Such a calculated set, and we were saying it coming into it. STMN starts slow, but when they start cooking, it gets hot in that kitchen. I really felt the draft was a better one as well. The Lou, the Sandy, it just
टेलीक्वेस्ट करते हो या नहीं आजकल ना मैं जो भी करता हूँ ऑनलाइन ही करता हूँ बताया तो था फिर भी पूछ रहा है बंदा
Walk up, hit him with the gadget, super shot into the goals. Again, like we talked about, once you have that sandstorm down and you have the crow damage, you have to basically move into your own goals to heal at all. It's really oppressive. It was actually a disgusting composition picked up here by STM, and they got everything they could have needed. We know that Buster is Stu, so powerful, but when you have a slowing toxin and a stun, all of this CC on your gadgets to slow up the Stu, there's not much you can do.
I love the energy there from Sands, and this is what I'm saying about STM, and they are that momentum team that thrive upon how they're performing. 11 takedowns for that man, 335 DPS, amazing from him.
Sands already getting one MVP for the day. It might be on a crash course with his second here. Eat your heart out, Bobby. Sands being put in a position to dominate, and they've let him off the leash. It's his time to shine.
Which team qualified through the LCQ make WFS?
Ourselves, the fact that it's Sands' first World Finals. I mean, I can't really remember a time that I've seen someone display so much talent in their first world stage appearance. It really is something to marvel at. Gem Grab up next, the last stop coming in thick and fast. I want to see the nanny bands, the 8-bit bands. They are such prominent mids. Mega as well can have his place. Tara for those lane side, Buster as well. There is just such a diverse brawler pool when it comes to this map.
Yeah, look, STMN let the 8-bit get through in that matchup against Zeta Division a couple times, and honestly, it really hurt them. That's something they're definitely looking to avoid, I think, if they possibly can. The 8-bit is pretty scary. It was on Kaboom Canyon, I think. They let that one get through. See what the bans are here. Squeak taken away here by STMN, no less. Meg, Piper banned away. But there's plenty of options for sharpshooters still on the table.
Certainly so. Meg banned out by Nouns, which I quite like, but I feel like the nanny first pick wouldn't be the worst of things. 8-bit has got a lot of weakness. We saw it yesterday with Reply Totem. Lola going to come in for STMN.
Ola,
It's very difficult to do much about that kind of interaction. And as the first pick, oh, that's a strong one. The nanny mid is very, very good. I'm already liking what I'm seeing. Otis is going to come in. The Fat Splatter going to be doing a good job on those lane sides to try and win it, trying to seek and destroy, trying to get that trickle down of poison. I really feel like Nouns are cooking something nicely here. It's a good tank deterrent as well. So with the eventuality of a Rosa or something else coming in, those brawlers are kind of going to be kept at bay.
Such a strong laner, the Otis is. One of the best duelists in the game, of course, if that super is available. Muting your opponent means that you basically can't lose out in that matchup. Already very well-rounded draft here from Nouns.
भाई वैसे कोबरा लोला बहुत बढ़िया स्किन है.
Maybe Psychic can answer to help out with those bushes. You also have help from beyond there, just in a pinch to as like mobile sandbags, if you will. Then of course that gravity is really crucial.
आप ही ने तो बताया था कि नहीं अच्छी स्किन है. ये विचार आपके ऐसे कैसे चेंज हो गए?
To have here and Lou coming in. I mean, this is a strong,
it's so good
from STMN.
Para super, Lou super. Oh man, that's filthy.
Lola mid as well. Very hard to avoid that spray when it comes in. And I mean, Bo, for now, it's not my favorite. It's really not my favorite. It's one of the safe ones to go for. But, you know, in the current meta, I mean, there's no hypercharge on the side of Nouns, and the Lu is the strongest hypercharge brawler in the game.
Attack animation देख के.
And it wasn't banned out. I just don't really feel like this draft has gone the way of Nouns.
And we saw Tribe just exploit Lu constantly. You know, Zulan absolutely dominated on that brawler. Already very strong in his own right, but yeah, with that hypercharge, that really gets out of control here. We are one apiece in this set. Nouns were fighting for survival, but their destiny might already be sealed. They may already be out, but now they're here to fight for some pride. Firecrow here dealing with that help from beyond and takes Sands down as well.
Well, the Nanny is certainly my favorite pick on the side of Nouns, and it is making some good things happen. And meanwhile, that stun from Bobby is huge. Can find Pekka on it. Firecrow weak on the left-hand side, and Sands is 700 HP. That positioning from Zar will help get the pinch.
Really nice from Bobby there. Obviously, he doesn't have the hypercharge for that. He just tapped Pekka a couple times, starts to slow him up. Oh, remember, with Super Cool, they already go to 50% freeze inside that Super. So the star power already gets you halfway there.
All the connection from Sands, but the mute was really well played by Firecrow. It meant that he was able to come out alive in the interaction, making that 3 versus 2 mines placed behind Bobby for the hypercharge stun. Immediately takes down Pekka. He's not able to get even in this game at all at the moment because of what Bobby's bringing in.
Nice freeze frame there from Zar, meaning that there was no way Nouns could trade him for Firecrow on that left-hand side. We do see STMN give up a lot of map control through individuals, kind of feeding there. But Zar obviously extremely healthy, able to play back. Still a nice 8 gems here. Sands has to use help from beyond to try and close the gap on Firecrow, and still could be scary. Definitely dodges away from the mute though. That's a nice look, but still gets caught halfway through. Otis is oppressive on that left side.
Turn to sender there from Motive on Zar, but Motive is very, very low. He can't continue to contest this mid too much unless STMN can start to push this forwards. His mines now further placed deeper there by Pekka on the right-hand side. And actually, look at the gems. Nouns are catching up. They're almost 8-8 now and have just done a wondrous job at making up for lost time.
Bobby needs to retake control.
Mysteries game. Hi bro, how are you? My end day 2.
Firecrow's finally taken down as Zar's able to assist, but he couldn't get pinched here. Pekka started to approach and Sands in no position to assist. He jump pads across the map. He's going to go for a big play with that super. But where's the opportunity? It's just Firecrow. Sure enough, he falls. But it's Motep with the gems arc. 2 gems spawning in the mid. STMN can hold firm, but they cannot move away. One about to spawn any second now. If Nouns go in aggressively here onto Zar, he might drop them. He's low. 120 HP, but holding on in just the nick of time. Got him. Countdown back in the way of Nouns. Gems spilled all over the ground. Neither Bomby nor Sands can go for the right now. So Firecrow steps up and takes him from himself. He just needs the 2 of them. Zar can't even get back to the drop. Gems here now and 5 seconds left in the round. STMN are being cut off at the knees. Nouns, what a start on gem grab.
Just a little bit of loss of composure there for STMN. They had such a fantastic start. I mean, Zar was doing work in that mid, getting the gems in, Bobby on the right-hand side, continuously taking down with that Lu. But as soon as they lost that control, that's when Nouns really started to pick up the pace, make up that lost time, get those mines on the both side placed in a deep position, and getting out of that spawn. It's very difficult to do.
Talk about the elephant in the room. Do we need to swap Sands out of that side lane against the Otis?
It won't be a bad shout. To be honest, the Fat Sputter has a good interaction with those shades and tearing through them. Sands is not really having the best of times here. STMN certainly need to make some form of adaptation.
We saw this happen earlier. This is what forced Zar out of mid in the first place and gave all that map control over to Nate.
भाई क्या dodge मार रहा है ये?
Bobby has to step ahead of them into a hail of arrows. Pekka is low. Bobby is also dicing when death. 16 HP to 24. Bobby stays alive. That is actually massive.
I love the freeze frame there from Zar, just keeping the shade far away and getting a lot of spray on his behalf. Let's see now how STMN will hold. Sands doing a good job down the left-hand side. That fast button not going to do much, and that mute is going to go straight into a shade. So good patience from Firecrow to land it when he does, and now he cleans up that left-hand side.
That's what you expect from someone like Firecrow. He plays around the counter play.
Patience.
Love to see it. Now it's going to be Bobby hypercharge here. Pekka gets stunned up pretty much instantly now. He throws another super. He's going to cycle this. Motep caught out as well. We're at 8 gems to 1. And Firecrow doesn't get out unscathed either.
This is a very similar situation to what we saw in the previous game, but this time round, SCMN hold firm, but there is a gem split there with Sands. If he goes down, it might reset. Saul needs really one more from the mid, but in the meanwhile, Firecrow goes down. SCMN are safe and sound and bring this one back to tied sets.
Much better here from SCMN.
GG's.
Bobby fighting it.
Painter भाई आ गया.
Survives with about 60 HP, and that free
Hello,
sprint from
Painter.
Zara allows them to just collapse onto the right-hand side. That turns into map control, and it translates into a pretty...
कौन सा घटिया कैमरा यूज कर रहे हैं भाई ये लोग?
But you can see how risky it is if STMN don't hold themselves firm. Nows have already demonstrated that if they find them to be able to push back to that spawn, it can go from bad to worse quickly. A good start from Sands, though he went down immediately. He did get some good value, some good cutting through of those cards there onto Firecrow and Motep. It's just Bobby now, 2 gems sitting in the mid. Really, that's just waiting for Motep to scoop him up.
I mean, it's fine to give Sands up there, but they needed Zara to stay alive. Those 2 gems get surrendered to Motep now. Good little damage and pressure at least on Pekka, but he's kind of not the issue. It's Motep here with the peep. Zara goes low. Just one follow-up shot from Firecrow was always needed. One more shot would deal with Firecrow from Sands, but he cannot connect. The mute, though, does connect with some help from beyond.
No good, going to mute out that shade there, and Firecrow knows it. I love the piloting, though, as well from Motep, just to be able to scoot around and find the connection onto Zar. And meanwhile, Pekka is still on that bottom right-hand side. That peep is going to find Zar, and now Zar's going to drop all 3 gems. Nows are now on 9, and SCMN are all over the place.
Sands, though, is deep in enemy territory in a good spot to deploy the gravity until Motep catches him out. Zara in no position here to challenge Firecrow. He's a little bit too low. He's going to go for the Megalomania. Regardless, 1700 HP left on the Otis as the gems are distributed here between 2 Nouns players, but there's no way for Zara to get there. Pekka waiting for Sands to step up, and it's a convincing set win for Nouns.
GG's.
I had Nows down for me as being one of my top 3 teams in this competition.
भाई कल के स्टार ड्रॉप से सिर्फ रेयर मिले थे, आज के देखते हैं क्या मिलेगा. पेंटर भाई हमारा घर में थोड़ा पेंट कर दो. वो थोड़ा क्या पूरा पेंट कर देगा, पैसे लगेंगे उसके. पैसे दीजिए, बिल्कुल करेगा. काम ही है भाई.
And now we're starting to see why. The question is though, Ark, is it too late?
This is the question. This is the question. I feel like, you know, with that sweep against them, that they might be just fighting into the wind at this stage. We shall see how it goes down. Obviously, the head-to-head and the set win percentage is where this one is going to be decided ultimately. At the moment, though, at least, it's great to see that both teams are still giving it their all. And for SCMN, certainly, you know, looking ahead of things, they've got to keep their game up. They had a very, very
आजकल से ज़्यादा ऑडियंस है.
I mean, you know, but now's
अभी स्टार्टिंग है, अभी पहला स्टेज खत्म हो जाएगा, सब भग जाते हैं अपने घर.
Was the weaker of the 2 with a bow of all things, 3rd and final pick bow. I mean, those are ideas that shouldn't really be working.
The Tara Otis lane for me was where it all fell apart. I mean, I don't know if there's a chance that you can swap the Tara maybe into the bow, but I mean, Sen's got absolutely flattened time and time again by those. Yeah, a couple cute moments where you're able to block the mute out with some of those shades that look really good, but you're dealing with Firecrow. For God's sake, he's not someone that is going to fall foul of that trick too many times.
Finally, some celebratory moments from now. Still staying relatively composed, though, and I think that's probably wise. 11 kills per... I'm just always looking to the left at this stage to see what Sands has been doing, because, I mean, his numbers are just crazy. I mean, 11 takedowns is more than the entirety of Nows, and, I mean, 375 DPS to add to the mix. It's his first World Finals!
How 11 takedowns on the Tara? You're kidding me. Can't be right. I demand a recount. Stop the vote. Stop the count. Demand a recount. I don't know how he comes out of such an oppressive lane with such a solid stat line. But, you know, essentially we saw, you know, Bobby do really well, I think, at threatening that bow down a couple times. Is like, tap you a couple times, throw the super over here, very standard stuff. Without hypercharge, able to freeze that target solid. And when he's able to do that, they push in. We saw the bow just start to slow down, though. Not get hit as many times, not take the direct challenge, throw some supers out to clear some terrain, and that was it. And all of a sudden, Bobby didn't actually have the ability to help Zar. He couldn't collapse into that mid with him. And with Sands basically dying off spawn every time, it's very, very hard to translate that into any sort of gem lead.
Yeah, for me as well, that mid battle, I still feel like Nani is probably the best mid now. 8-Bit, I feel, is definitely a very close second. It's definitely got some weaknesses there with the slow and such, but we have got from Rosa coming with the unfriendly bushes and such. Shooting Star up next for Bounty, the long-ranged affair. I want to see those kind of immediate bans really for me of the Piper, because we've seen what Bobby can do with it. You know, he saves it almost to fall those World Finals. The Brock as well, the Fang, I feel, has got to be considered here very, very highly. I mean, if that brawler is left open, it's a very aggressive one that I think Nouns would thrive with.
Yeah, I mean, the pop-off potential, you know, the all-in, of course, of Fang is absolutely terrifying.
रेवेनेंट के लिए बुरा लग रही है किस बात के लिए बुरा लग रहा है भाई इसको बाहर करवा के मानेगा ये रेवेनेंट को फाइनल पहुंच गए भाई कब हुआ तुम रहने दो भाई पैसे का कमाल है भाई पैसे का कमाल है जय शाह बोला कि मैं भी करवाऊंगा बोला इंडिया की टीम वहां भी फाइनल खेलेगी जैसा ने 2 करोड़ रुपए भिजवाए वहीं लोगों की जीभ निकल गई बोला हाँ ले जाओ भाई ले जाओ इतना तो हम पूरे टीम मिलके नहीं दे पा रहे ले जाओ ट्रॉफी भी ले जाओ उन्होंने बोला ना 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 रहने दो इतना नहीं फाइनल खिला दो बस
I mean, and what better time for it? I'm all open to see it at the World Finals. No better time, but it is that really risky thing that just allows so much into it. I mean, if you're going to be charging into this kind of comp with a max, you know, that kind of thing, it's be so difficult to really make it work.
This may be why STMN has banned Grey and Mortis, right? The two most important brawlers right now for that all-in strategy. You are trying to hedge Nouns into a composition that has to play from longer ranges so that Mandy can't be threatened. Her biggest weakness, of course, is that she has to stand still for that extra range, for that extra impact. So make sure that Nouns can't just clobber you at close range, and maybe you can exploit them at long range.
चलो भाई मैं मुत्तू स्वामी से मिल के आता हूँ ये लोग बहुत टाइम लगा रहे हैं.
Pretty safe for me. I'm not necessarily, you know, too excited by it at the most part, but the RT, for, you know, certainly all intents and purposes, going to be a good pick. The legs, of course, you know, they're going to have a moment to play around in those top right-hand pockets and left-hand sides, but for the most part, just the amplified shot, the hacks gadget to get that immediate damage is where you can get those kills going your way. And Bounty, of course, that objective, so important to remember to play and reserve those stars, but of course, kills and deaths is what it comes down to.
Yeah, hacks reminds me a little bit of Kooky Popper, right? Just land that one shot and then, you know, have this burst damage that kind of comes out of nowhere. Being able to detonate those marks is really important. This is the first tick pick we have seen all weekend.
I'm not liking this draft, and I feel like Nouns are not exploiting the weakness of this. I mean, imagine just going into this with a max. I mean, the Mandy can't do anything. The Ticket's going to be struggling so hard here. I don't really feel like STMN are thinking this one through.
Can you pick Max yourself? Eve here for STMN. I know Travis just rolling his eyes to the back of his head right now. Again, understand why. Shooting Star, right? Again, this is a very much a sit back and wait composition for STMN.
We were saying as well backstage in the hotel, Max is a very underrated brawler picked by a lot of the pros.
Drage was saying, like, people need to be picking this brawler. He's very good. Still good. Again, it's very, very serviceable, very solid, very well-rounded, safe pick, which is why I think we see the bell on like RT to some degree, right? Like I think, you know, Nouns haven't really committed to anything, and here it is. The Carl comes out. Now, Nouns flash a bit of that all-in potential, right? Flying hook to close the gap, protected pirouette to make sure you can roll over these very immobile, long-range brawlers. That's a pretty scary prospect for STMN. They had best be ready.
Yeah, last hurrah has got to be on the cards for that tick. Yeah. Ultimately, that's the best deterrent of the Carl. It can take you out of the protected pirouette. But it's definitely the way that I was expecting this draft to go more towards the side of. You've got to have that aggression. You've got to keep the brawlers like the Mandy, the tick at bay. And I think Nouns could have done a bit more, actually, to really enforce that kind of comp. But hey, here we go. Let's see if STMN have got the whole thing thought through and how they defend against these aggressive pushes from Pekka.
It's important for Bobby, of course, to play pretty statically here. Increase that range. Again, extremely long range is Mandy. That Sugar Ray also very important. He's dominating the bell in that matchup there. Fire goes down. And it's been a little bit hard for the Carl to have a say in this round so far.
Yeah, the connections from Sands were wonderful. He's just landing everything. And wow. I mean, it's just, I mean, I'm not saying he's got the backpack, but nonetheless, his accuracy is... Bobby finds the right-hand side, but Pekka comes in and wants to punish it. 3 stars there would be the bounce to take away. But
that's the blue star.
Yeah, he's going to hand it over.
Devastating here. Bobby super available now. Waiting for him to line up. Motep definitely needs damage. What's about him? And Bobby slaps him down. from downtown.
5 stars now for him, and he's making the supers count. I want to see the lineup, so I want to see all 3 go down as the result of it. But now the push coming in. Firecrow slow on the side of Nows, but Motip finding the sounds on the left-hand side. Oh, the miss mark though as well, and the hatchlings now are going to just be able to advance upon this push, and Nows back into the mid.
Motip can't get close enough to guarantee connections with these marks, Ark. That is huge. Remember, the mark does not come off you, so hitting it on a 5-star target is absolutely crucial. Firecrow getting closer though, you know now that all-in potential starting to show itself. Sara a little bit low, that's 3 stars going over to Nows. They're still behind by 4, but that's enough now as we head into the last 30.
It's going to be a really, really tough defense here. Bobby's trying to get that additional range down the bottom left. Pops the gadget as well.
Oh, job baat hai bhai. Bolt reaction arta hai.
Waiting for his teammates. If he lands it with the fly hook going in now, will search up away. He does got to go gadget. Gonna get some value here. STMN stay.
GG's.
Backline 17-4. What a defense.
That was epic stuff.
Jeez, बढ़िया खेला भाई, बढ़िया खेला.
It's risky. It invites a dive composition from your opponents. And to some degree, that's where Nouns went. RT can walk up on you. We know Carl wants to try and close the gap. But Bobby was absolutely ready for that dive there. The caramelized gadget to slow your foes down. Give you enough space to find the burst damage to remove Carl before he can get on you.
Well, it's a slow start. Blue Star, of course, going the way as Nouns, as you'd thoroughly expect as a result of that Carl pick. Quickly into the mid for STMN. 3 nest egg placements already there from Motip, and 1 more still remaining. Nouns are playing defensively, and I don't mind it in this regard, but with the Blue Star in their pocket, it does invite the push. And STMN are that team which will go in and try to come out with the goods.
Nouns mathematically, unfortunately, are still eliminated from the World Finals as it stands. So this matchup is one for Pride to take back home. Bobby marked up here by that RT. Confidence now brimming for STMN. They do lack the Blue Star here. They've taken much of this map control now. Pekka, Firecrow, Motep, all starting to get poked down. Last hurrah here for Star, Zar rather, as he walked into a nest.
GG's, मिल गया kill, वापस आ जाओ.
What?
Hatching coming in now as well. That's just going to buy a little bit more time for STMN. It's just that 1-star differential at the moment. Motip slowed, and there's the super pick.
Oh, double kill.
Bobby, not done yet. Getting another tap there onto Firecrow into the mid, but it's just 3 now. And now it's 1 good push, but that's the slow gadget again from Bobby. He's really making this man count. I might be eating my words.
I tell you what, Bobby now tips his head. I think he feels like this is the time to show
the
pocket Mandy.
क्या बात है भाई?
He's the next to fall.
क्या बात है?
Move up here with 5 stars.
हर शॉट कनेक्ट करते हुए.
Left to play as Firecrow is desperate to find a way in.
Yeah, 20 seconds, not much time for a response, but plenty of stars on the side of STMN.
भाई टिक से ओपी को थ्रो नहीं है.
With a slow connection from Bobby, the stars.
और गुड ट्रेड.
They're going left and right. 11 to STMN, 9 over to Nows. Motip weak going to fall to Bobby. The Stewart defense.
GG's, क्या बात.
And STMN finishes strong.
A strong start translates into a powerful finish for STMN. Headlined this time by Bobby. His North American team snatches up another set, and you bet we're going all the way to 5.
There's no better time for it. We love to see it go all the way at the World Finals. I'm still not thoroughly convinced on that Mandy, but in the hands of Bobby, I might be changing my mind on it. He played phenomenally well.
I'm signing up for that one with 5 easy payments of $99.99 a month, my guy. I'm calling in. I am absolutely convinced that was the pick there. Stunning stuff. Bobby is a specialist when it comes to those sharpshooters, Ark.
This might be one of those moments where the stats are actually going to not be Sands' to pay attention to for the first time, realistically. I mean, that was a performance from Bobby to stay composed. I mean, the stars were pretty much always above his head on the side of STMN.
Yeah, we talk about, of course, Mandy's sort of apparent lack of mobility, but she does have answers. She has options. That was a caramelized gadget there on Firecrow to make it impossible for RT to make a play with that super. Used earlier on to stop Pekka, I think, in his tracks as he tried to spin his way on in here. See, Bobby slows him up here, and Sands at least was there for the trade. And at this point, you have a Blue Star and you can just throw Zara or Bobby in. It doesn't matter if they go down here. So you can give up one of those players, and they don't even have to do that. So they have I love that. They have redundancy. There it is.
उन तेरे को बहुत मारूंगा क्या बात
For your boy Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby's convinced me. For when he picks it.
अरे भाई फायर प्रो का पूरा फायर खत्म कर दिया भाई 0 किल सांस की भी सांस निकलते निकलते बची भाई लेकिन डैमेज ज्यादा था
And I love the experimentation. Tough round there for Firecrow. Just 55 DPS. I mean, that is really on the low side.
Absolutely. I will say, like, the composition.
सांस 33 ब्रॉस की गोल्ड सी मास्टरी करके रखा है पर इधर गुड़ गोबर कर रहा ऐसा क्या सबसे नल्ला तो राक्षस है अबे ये लोग बैठते ब्रॉल स्टार्स खेल रहे हैं इधर पे
very complex mechanical brawlers, then you look to Bobby to really produce in situations like that. And yeah, Sans got out of the spotlight for a bit. He was on Eve though. He was doing the job. He was holding down that button for the boys. Heist! It'll be safe zone for our last set of this series. They're deciding here. But as we now know, STMN have already advanced to our final day of play.
It's such a great map for brawlers and for action. I'd love to see the 8-bit band out here. Ultimately, we've seen already with STMN going towards that particular brawler on Heist and being able to get that objective shredded out. Chuck as well, I feel, is one of those brawlers that I don't mind seeing not banned. I think the best counter to that particular brawler, it is banned by both sides, but just to go in and get the damage, no one wants to take the risk, and I respect that. Charlie banned, of course, as well as the Colette, Nanny, and the Grom. But again, the Brock, the 8-bit, Colette, for me, has got to be a ban on this particular map. Sometimes even Lou Cordelis is going to be a great thing to have when it comes to those defenses.
A lot of options here as well. We've seen Lola taken at times on this map. Oh, baby, it just keeps getting better. The Piper locked in, and there's a good chance that one's going into Bobby's hot little hands.
Yeah, you love to see it. You really, really do. Always an exciting thing to see Bobby with the Piper. Let's see how Nouns respond with this.
नाउंस को जिता दो यार नाउंस जिता दो मजा आ जाए देख के भाई कि आखिर आगे होगा क्या
I feel like it still has very much a place getting those shots to land and then jumping off those assassination attempts onto the safe as well is definitely going to keep yourselves continuously back on that defense. But the Cordelia is still open here, and if Bobby, if STMN want to pick that one up and then have that to be as a counter pick, I suggest that Nouns want to really combine it, and they do. Yeah, I like that strat.
Look, I mean, Bonnie Great so
सोचो नाउंस जीत जाए और जीटा हार जाए उसके बाद फिर दोनों पहुंच जाए वर्ल्ड फाइनल्स में और जीटा को निकाल दिया जाए बोलेगा जीटा वाला बोलेगा साला मेरे को क्यों तोड़ा मैंने क्या किया था मेरे को क्यों तोड़ा भाई मैंने तो कुछ किया भी नहीं था
That's absolutely an option. That cheat cartridge also can be pretty crucial here, just to avoid getting assassination or get yourself out of trouble. And the Eve again, STMN really favouring this pick.
Yeah, it's really going to be good, quite good into the Bonnie matchup. Those hatchlings are going to be very difficult to take down. The slow and sluggish shot, along with the movement speed of Bonnie.
Right. It's so important. I mean, Bonnie cannot store shots. Yeah. It's one shot and then reload. So dealing with like minions is very frustrating for her quite often.
As it is for Piper to have to deal with if Nouns want to pick up. And there's the 8-bit. I love this from STMN. This is a solid draft, really well thought through. And I think that Nouns are going to struggle. Sure, they've got the Cordelius on defense, but when you look at the amount of range, the disposal of STMN and Brock, sure, I mean, it works, but I'm already kind of sold.
You're sold, bro. I said 5 easy payments, $9.99. I'll give you a discount. If I refer you, you get it a little cheaper and I get a kickback, all right? I'll tell you, we're making this happen. Look, I like Sans on the Eve here. He was really, really good. On a brawler that generally isn't able to create these, like, explosive moments of high burst damage and, attract all that attention, the utility is undeniable. Obviously, spawning the hatchlings, but also just being able to opt out of playing in that middle choke. So there's less options here for, for Nouns' sharpshooters to get easy damage and easy supers.
Yeah, and we saw Sans was playing beautifully on Shooting Star, so let's see whether he's going to be taking the same pick. Pekka on the Cordelius is a dangerous thing to see. Immediately through the mid, Bobby with down. Beautiful gadget. I love it. Love what STMN are thinking here. Break off the mid. They're just not wasting any time at all.
Yeah, a fun way to start up, but that is ultimately traded, that elimination. Fycro now walks into that one from Bobby. Your
भाई
boy is
क्या ही
cooking.
खेलता है फाइट पर
Sal wants
फाइट
to move
करता
up on
भाई.
the right-hand side of the map. It stands this time on that 8-bit, so that extra durability and filthy amounts of damage here is so big. Pekka, though, able to dodge away from much of those shots. Azar has to try and jump across the gap, but gets caught out by that incendiary field from Motep. Sands no more than happy to maybe 1v2 this. Damage Jam to block those rockets here, and Bobby to the rescue. STMN are clean with it.
I just love
भाई
how STMN
49% तो उड़ा चुके हैं.
just ignoring that right-hand side and Bobby with
अरे बॉबी भाई मान जाओ यार, हार जाओ ना यार. हमें देखना है जी आगे होगा जी.
With the right-hand side, it's going to trickle down the poison. Yes, he will go down. Pekka going on the aggressive, but it's not going to matter because everything is solid on the side of STMN.
Here we go. Time to fire some shots off at this safe. STMN get their just rewards for being able to dominate the game in the middle of the map. Motep, well, he's dead again. Now, back in spawn once more. Fycro and Pekka getting absolutely hammered here now. Cordelia is trying to step up to put pressure on the Eve. But at what cost? The hatchlings are going to work here on Pekka, and eventually he falls to that ticking damage.
Yeah, it's a matter of time now. The position Azar is in with the hatchlings about to soon then come and help out. But Pekka will clear things up. Sands taking some damage, but it's just a measly 5% so far for Nows. SCMN are way out in front with 45 seconds left on the clock. All they got to do is hold firm, land some more taps and keep this pressure on.
Yeah, we may not
बेचारी बॉनी की जो कुटाई हो रही है.
left in the round. Here's a damage amp now as Pekka wants to step up and try and put a bit of pressure on Sands, but he's so healthy, so tanky, so durable. Pekka, though, is better in the 1v1. Will be removed again as Bobby intervenes from across the map. These guys-
भाई बॉनी को एक नहीं पड़े भाई.
It's like they're mind-
बॉनी भाई क्या लेके फायदा क्या.
Final push, but
अरे कुटाई एक और.
isn't for it. He's going to find himself back in the defense, especially with that pick of a Pekka. As Bobby now goes towards the mid, finds it safe, 19%. Sands from the left, popping gadgets, landing little connections there with the extra credits. 12% is going to be enough.
जा जा जा. कर ले थोड़ा डैमेज कर ले भाई.
You said you were sold.
Set point and the match point.
Draft, and so far it's been paying dividends. Immediately, Bobby comes out of the middle of the map. It's a homemade recipe, a tap to follow it up, and it's an instant 3 versus 2. And that was a story for basically that entire round. It's something they can absolutely replicate. We're starting to see why Eve is so punishing, so difficult to deal with. We mentioned about her super being powerful, the ticking damage, and also the mobility of the jump.
Lanes change कर ली इस बार.
At least as well as Sands did in that previous.
और ये lanes change करना ज़्यादा फायदेमंद लग रहा है इनका.
Oh, look at these trades going left and right. But Fycro is going to try to find a connection on the safe. Not actually going to be able to land it, but Sands will. Meanwhile, he's already got damage booster as well. And it's the same old story.
लेकिन कोई फायदा नहीं. Lanes change करने के बाद भी हाल वही है.
Any time at all.
I think they took Nouns way too long to get rid of that damage amp there. They got completely, I guess, befuddled as they tried to go up against Sands as he threw that down. So a decent lead. I mean, Sands just lined up the safe a couple times. There's Bobby once more, intervening in a side lane. Motep with the rocket laces here, but Sands has seen that trick before. And then he has another damage booster to the throwdown in moments. And Pekka running, chomping at the bit to engage. Sands will be drawn in the Shadow Realm heal. Try and keep Pekka busy for a time. 21% damage on that safe for Nouns.
Nice jump there from Bobby. Pekka low on that left-hand side, 116 HP for him. Lovely pick up there from Bobby, just popping the gadget there. But still, Pekka's got to make his way forwards here to keep this pressure on. And Zara now going to try to see it off on the bottom side. The egg as well, just going to take some shots, but Sands too low really in the mid. Might go down with this jumping from Fycro. Bobby there should get the pickup, and that leaves us Motep alive.
I mean, Nouns are playing so recklessly here just to try and get any damage on the safe. There's a sense about them. They feel like they might have already let this one slip. Homemade recipe doesn't quite hit the mark this time as Pekka is able to sidestep it. Fycro, and he will step forward again as Sands is forced to give a bit of ground. Hatchlings, though, will be popping out in just a moment now.
Lane change बहुत फायदेमंद रही है भाई.
Zar throwing in some extra shots as well, and Fycro is devoured. Motep on the back foot now as STMN takes some mid-control.
Damage boosted down, there's the extra credits connection from Sands, but forced into the round by Pekka. Really nice little defense from Nows here. Bobby, they're going to stay firm in that damage booster, and that is more objective damage heading the way of STMN.
It's almost too much. Arc for Nouns to come back from now. Down to 50%, that's safe, and Pekka's not in a position to try and create openings for the rest of his team. Fycro taking that ticking damage constantly. Motep finally able to deal with Zar. There might be an opening here. Fycro looking to jump on him, but instantly blown to smithereens by Sands. 10 seconds left.
And with that, नहीं देखने को मिलेगा. उम्मीद तो थी, but स्टैमिना ने तोड़ के रख दिया. क्या ही कर सकत। अले भाई नाउंस भैया यार, ची ची ची।
For the boys in green, a wonderful display, some fantastic drafts, and the additional boost, that buff with Sands. My, that boy's done well today. SMN will sleep well tonight, that's for sure.
A slow start to 2023 for STMN. Finally getting the take to the stage at Worlds with Sands in tow. Bobby supporting them as well in that coaching role from behind. This team has all of the pieces they need to create a winning mixture. And they'll have a chance to reach for glory tomorrow.
I've got to say, honestly, you know, I was surprised that Nouns were the team to fall away from this group. They were in my top three, but STMN still surviving on are still in my top three. They're yet to come. I mean, commiserations to Nouns. They did bring a good game, but it just got a little bit too late, didn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, this Group C has been incredible. We expected this to be one of the most competitive collections of teams here at the World Finals. It's a slow start. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that for Nouns. You're going to wish desperately that you had that back. What we saw from them there in this matchup against STMN, it was very clear. They were tooled, they were equipped to compete. They just took too long to get their sea legs.
इस 6 मिनट की बकवास को मैं एक काम करता हूँ, मैं दूसरी स्ट्रीम में कन्वर्ट कर लेता हूँ।
That was it after that.
And as well, like when you think back to their matchup with Zeta, it was punishing to not gain a couple of sets along the way.
अब CR versus CR के ये भी मिल गया 200 आई, क्या करेंगे?
After that mammoth matchup between STMN going all the way to the 5th, I thought that they would come into that second match.
चलो एक नई स्ट्रीम स्टार्ट करते हैं, उसमें ज़्यादा हमें मिलेगा क्रिएटिव पॉइंट्स। चलिए आ रहे हैं 2 मिनट में, इसको बंद करके दोबारा से दूसरी स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं। दूसरी स्ट्रीम आएगी, तब तक के लिए चलो 2 मिनट में तुम भी टट्टी भड़ा का जाना है तो जा सकते हो, या फिर तुम्हें मुत्तु स्वामी से मिलने आना तो मिल के आओ, जब तक दूसरी स्ट्रीम आ रही है। Oh boy, the sailor man.
I mean, straight out of bounty into then another sharp